fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here.
Y'all, let's get started. Now, listen, I have tried to be fair, but we don't get this party started because, honey, what they finna do in this, this number 2 is very different than what happened in 1. So it's going to get started. I kind of put it on the correct points for when it's going to start, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be convicted simply because I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm saying in terms of the evidence. And, in order for them to convict him, they have to have evidence. And I just don't believe that they are going to be able to prove their case. I feel like the district attorney charged him and did horrible with the cross-examination. Like, what did y'all charge him for? Like, you have to be able to cross-examine. I think they were horrible. I think if prosecutors are going to charge people and they can't cross-examine, they need to be fired because y'all can't be charging people. And then when you get in front of the jury, you don't have anything to say. Like, this is stupid. So this is day 2, y'all. This is day 2. They're going to pick back up with, I believe her name is Mila, and hi to everybody in the chat. I just wanted to get started because it's long again. So hi to everybody in the chat. This is day 2.
All right. Hey. All persons having anything to do with the Honorable G. Marion Carroll, First Justice of the District Court, now sitting in Dedham, within and for the Commonwealth, draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This honorable court is now in session. You may be seated.
All right. Good morning, jurors. I hope you had a good evening, and I just want to.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. It's just not looking too good. If she is telling the truth, we can't tell. I'm just being honest. If she's telling the truth, we can't tell.
Any areas that have been mentioned in connection with this matter since yesterday? I see no hands raised and all heads going in the right direction. Thank you. And how about, has any member of the jury read, seen, heard, or overheard anything from any source about any aspect of this case outside of this courtroom since yesterday that has affected or would affect your ability to consider this case in any way as a fair and impartial juror? Yeah, thank you all very much. All right, with that, we're ready to proceed. Commonwealth, is the witness available?
Yes, I believe we're in the cross.
We are.
The judge was talking low. It'll get louder. You couldn't hear her. She talks a little low, but it will get louder. Somebody said they couldn't hear. You'll be able to hear what the attorney is going to say. For some reason, the judge talks very low.
Good morning. Just to remind you that you're still under oath.
Okay.
And Ms. Adams, again, as of the same as yesterday, if you could do your best to keep your voice up, that is appreciated.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Adams, on January 1st, 2026, you sent Steph's girlfriend a text message that later appeared on TMZ's website, correct?
Yes.
And in that text message, you told Steph's girlfriend that you were so sorry, but you couldn't talk to her, right?
Yes.
And you told Steph's girlfriend in that text message, I didn't say that, especially in the way it was written.
Yes.
Right? And you were talking about the statement that you made to the Dedham police, right?
It was a voicemail, and I didn't listen. I read it, the transcript, so I didn't know her voice.
When you told Steph's girlfriend on January 1st, 2026,
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. So
I
don't
haven't
wanna
finished my
answer it.
question. When you told Steph's girlfriend on January 1st, 2026, in a written text message, I didn't say that, you were referring to the statements that were reported in the press that you gave to the Dedham Police Department, correct?
I don't understand your question.
Did you or did you not write those words?
I don't understand your question without further explaining.
You can't testify under oath to this jury what you meant by the words you wrote to Steph's girlfriend on January 1st, 2026?
I'm sorry. I don't understand your question without further explaining.
You also asked Steph's girlfriend to, quote, please call my mediator and she will answer everything you need to know, but only in person and confidentially. Right?
Yes.
Your mediator's name is Lynette Marie, right?
Lynette Marie.
Thank you. She's also known as Lynette Marie Turner.
I don't know.
You don't know your mediator's last name?
I don't know her. She's married. I don't know her exact last name.
Your mediator works for a company called LMT Global, correct?
Yes, that's her company.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you a corporate document from the state of Michigan. It is an amended annual report filed by LMT Global Corporation. Can you please read the name of the president of that company?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sidebar.
Your mediator, Lynette Marie, issued a money demand to Stefon Diggs on December 29th, the day the criminal complaint in this case issued, right?
I'm not sure of the date.
Well, may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Somebody said just come down from there. That's funny.
Do you recognize this email from L. Marie on December 29, 2025 to Stefon Diggs and a number of other people?
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. I want to correct something I put in the chat. They are deliberating, but I'm showing you day 2. Okay, so yes, the jury is deliberating. Yes, they are.
No, I don't recognize it.
You've never seen this money demand before.
I seen the money demand after I was. That's it. I don't recognize the email.
Testimony under oath is that your mediator made a money demand on December 29th for money for you from Mr. Diggs.
Money for past
The
wages.
same day the criminal complaint in this case issued, and you didn't see it?
I can't answer that question.
I'm sorry?
I can't answer that question without explaining further.
Can't answer that question under oath.
Without explaining.
Now, to clarify, guys, the reason why she says she can't explain it without further explanation, because the judge told her she has to answer the question. She cannot explain. Now, if y'all remember, in some trials, the judge will let you explain, but in this circumstance, they told her if she continues to explain, they will strike her entire testimony. So that is why she's saying, I can't answer that, because she wants to be able to explain her answer, and they're not allowing her to do that.
Your mediator demanded $19,000 on that date, didn't she?
For wages owed, yes.
Your Honor, I move to strike that.
Overruled. Answer stands.
Sorry.
Answer stands.
Thank you, Your Honor. You've made another money demand in this case, haven't you? Actually, before we get there, the
I didn't get a
19,000.
chance to answer the question.
Before we get there,
Are you withdrawing your
yes,
question,
the
counsel?
question is withdrawn. Thank you, Your Honor. After a money demand for $19,000 was provided to Stefon Diggs, on February 13th, you issued a public statement, didn't you?
Yes.
And in that public statement, you said, I have never sought money to settle this matter, right?
I haven't.
And by the middle of April, you had hired a lawyer to represent you, right?
For workers' comp.
That's a yes or no question, ma'am.
Yes, for workers' comp.
Your Honor, may the witness be instructed to please answer the questions posed.
Witness answered your question.
All right. And for workers' comp, the lawyer you hired, is she sitting in this room right now?
Yes.
And she helped you prepare for your testimony in this case, right?
She came to support me.
She came to the meeting with the Commonwealth's lawyer to help prepare you for your testimony in this case, correct?
I don't know how to answer that question.
You can't answer that question under oath, ma'am?
No,
You met with the prosecutor last Thursday, right? With your lawyer,
I was
right?
told to have a lawyer because you guys asked me to plead the fifth on some things. So I was instructed to have my lawyer come.
So your testimony under oath is that the Commonwealth's attorney instructed you to bring your private lawyer?
Or a lawyer that you guys offered a lawyer. So I brought my private lawyer.
I'm sorry, when you say you guys, do you mean me, defense counsel for Mr. Diggs?
Yes.
Is your testimony under oath that I had some role in your preparation session with the district attorney's office to prepare you for your testimony in this case?
I was told that the defense said I needed to have a lawyer, or they were going to provide a lawyer, something in that context about pleading the fifth about messages. So I brought my lawyer. which was when I walked to the side of the judge yesterday.
Your personal lawyer is here today, correct?
On workers' comp.
She's with the law firm of Boston Law. That's a law firm here in Dorchester, Massachusetts.
Ma'am, I think that was, I apologize, but you do need to keep your voice up. I don't know if you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Tell the jury how much I think you described her as a workers' comp lawyer.
I got her because I was injured on the job and I needed to file a workers' comp case. Stefon Diggs did not have proper workers' and comp insurance.
May-
The final portion of that answer will be stricken and you will disregard it. Ms. Adams, if you could just listen to the question, answer the question, and if you need it rephrased, counsel will certainly rephrase it for you. Next
Okay.
question.
Thank you, Your Honor. 3 weeks ago, your lawyer demanded $5.5 million from Mr. Diggs, didn't he?
Mr. Diggs offered me $100,000
Ma'am,
to recant my statement.
That is a yes.
That is the
Your Honor,
only.
Maybe be heard sidebar, please.
Now, this is where it gets crazy. You see how she got that part in? Girl. So allegedly, he offered her $100,000 to recant her statement. See, y'all know how this works. Money talks, okay? So his attorneys is really grilling her extremely hard. And it's difficult, as we can all see. Now, I feel like, from my standpoint, I'm going to let this, because they're going to go to a break. So I can fast forward. But y'all know money talks. So she said that part. What they're getting, that they're taking that out of the transcript. They don't want the jurors to be able to see that in the transcript, where she said he offered to give her $100,000. And that's why, y'all kind of know this court stuff is not a fair process, because if it was fair, then what's wrong with what she said? So the issue here is, when they ask her a question, it's like yes or no, but sometimes you have to elaborate on what it is you want to say. But they don't want her to do that. They just want her to answer yes or no, but sometimes it's not a yes or no answer. Like, for instance, they said, "Is this your attorney?" It's not her attorney, but then she says, it's just, I feel like he's probably going to get off simply because the evidence is not there. Did he do it? We don't really know. She doesn't really have any evidence that he did do it. So the part of it that we have to understand is the burden of proof is on her to kind of provide the evidence. So I don't feel like the evidence is there. But again, when you got money, so that's why I'm not going to say he didn't do it. I feel like she just doesn't have the evidence to prove that he did it, because I don't know. Like, he has a record of putting his hands on people. So I don't know, but I feel like he's going to get let off. But I'm going to fast forward this, y'all, because they're going to sit here for a good little minute. So I got the point where we're going to get it started back up. So they're about to get it started. Because what y'all just saw is they got that taken out of the record. They don't want that to be on the transcript, which is like, that's how y'all know money talks. Because if the Negro tried to give her $100,000, he tried to give her $100,000, but y'all don't want that in there. Y'all don't want that part in there. Wait a minute. I feel like I left something out. Wait. Let me go back.
And you will disregard it. Ms. Adams, if you could just listen to the question, answer the question, and if you need it rephrased, counsel will certainly rephrase it for you. Next
Okay.
question.
Thank you, Your Honor. 3 weeks ago, your lawyer demanded $5.5 million from Mr. Diggs, didn't he?
Okay, yeah, let me fast forward that. So I was right. So, I mean, you just have to have evidence. If you don't have evidence that something happened, then technically they're going to say that it didn't happen. The fact that she don't have evidence to me don't mean he didn't do it. It's just she don't have anything to prove that he did it. You know, we live in a world where people can say it didn't happen, and unless you have proof, they're going to get off. So, she don't have proof. He more than likely going to get off. I feel like they had obviously some kind of relationship. It seems like there was some resentment there. For whatever reason, I don't know why the lady would wait that long to, get the police involved. I don't know why she wouldn't take pictures. I mean, you're dealing with the person with a whole bunch of money. You need to have some kind of evidence.
And it's that you're responsible for answering questions that are put to you. If you don't understand a question, you can say that, and I'm sure counsel will rephrase. If you can't hear a question, tell them that as well. But courtrooms function and especially trials, unfold in a question and answer format. This is not an opportunity for you to interject your own narrative and evade responding to questions the court deems appropriate. And if you continue to do so, your entire testimony may be stricken. Am I clear?
Yes.
On the jurors.
All rise, jurors entering.
The judge been getting her together the entire
Be
time.
seated.
It's just the way that they,
Jurors, at this point, I just want to be clear on one point, all right? And it's the following. You may not consider anything you heard that was stricken from the record. When an answer is stricken from the record, it does not exist. And in determining what the facts are from this case, you're sworn to determine those facts solely and exclusively from the evidence presented, and you may not consider any answer that I have stricken. All right? Thank you. You may proceed. Thank you, counsel.
Ms. Adams, 3 weeks ago, your lawyer demanded $5.5 million from Stefon Diggs, correct?
That is client lawyer privilege. I cannot speak on that.
You believe that your lawyer's communications to Stefon Diggs are covered by your attorney-client privilege, ma'am?
I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to that question.
You know that someone on your behalf has demanded $5.5 million from Stefon Diggs, don't you?
I have a workers' comp claim, and
Your Honor?
I've explored all civil options.
Ma'am,
I don't understand.
are
the
you
question.
able to
Sorry.
answer
No.
that question?
No, I'm
Counsel,
not
restate
able
the
to.
question, please.
You know that someone on your behalf has demanded $5.5 million from Stefon Diggs.
Do you know that, Miss Adams?
No, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how to answer the question. I don't understand.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, before we direct me, you heard it said by.
Of course. Thank you.
So for the people asking, this is not a civil case. This is a criminal case. So she doesn't really have a lawyer because it's not civil. This is criminal. She can still sue him civilly though.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday, Defense Counsel showed you a form about that you filled out to the police,
Yes.
and they made a point that you're the hand, but not the forearm and elbow. May I approach? I'm putting a form in front of you. If you could just take a look at that and look up, recognize it.
Yes.
And I may direct the witness's attention. Could you read right here when it says the expected injury? Or
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
is there anywhere on that form where you do note the forearm and forearm being used to choke you?
Objection.
Yes.
Sidebar.
Regardless of if he did this or not, they just don't have enough evidence. Like there is no evidence. None. And it was interesting how they wasn't able to bring up the other cases. You know, he has other cases. So yeah, money talks. You know, that's why she should have had some kind of evidence. Like you're dealing with in there.
Cross, I believe there's some questions about the text messages leading up to the assault.
Yes.
And, do you have still a binder in front of you?
Yes.
Do you mind opening to section 3 and to pages ending in 114?
Okay.
Would you mind reading the text messages from page 114 to 117?
Okay. And I'm running that bitch life. The next text message doesn't say anything. I won't be paying you shit.
And would you mind just saying who's saying it?
Okay, I said the first. I and running that bitch life is what I said. Mr. Diggs said, I won't be paying you shit. Fuck, I look like paying you and paying another chef. Is you high, bitch? Who the fuck give you money for your business? Who the fuck gotta give you money for your business? I don't gotta do a motherfucking thing. And you can get whoever you want. You got my address. Tell them to come take the money then. Fuck you talking about. I said bet. Pussy. I said pussy. Show me I'm pussy. Will do. That's it.
In your experience as a personal chef, is it common practice that when chefs get sent away, they get paid for the week that they get sent away?
Yes,
Objection. Your
because
Honor.
that's the only job I have.
And I know on cross it came out that you made a public statement where you said, "I've never sought money to settle this case." When you said this case, was that referring to the criminal case? Or?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Go ahead.
That series of text messages that you just read, that was in response to you saying after you were fired by Mr. Diggs, you will be paying me out for the season and the money. I'm sorry, and this is on page 113 of Exhibit 3. You will be paying me out for the season and the money you said you would give me for my business. Wasted my fucking time being here because you got a fucking circus going on, right?
Yes.
So when he said he wouldn't be paying you, he was referring to your demand that after you leave your employment on December 2nd, he nonetheless continued to pay you $2,000 a week for the rest of the New England Patriots football season while you were not working for him, right?
That's not how it goes.
You will be paying me out for the season, right?
I was a contracted employee.
It's a yes or no question, ma'am.
I don't know how to answer that question. Sorry.
And before you said that, if you turn just one page back to page 112, what Mr. Diggs said to you that you were responding to was, I'm going to leave you be. Thank you for cooking for me for this season. I appreciate you. Hate it even got to this. That's what you were responding to when you told him he would be paying you out for the season, right?
No, it's a full context of those messages.
Ma'am, was the message that came from Mr. Diggs that preceded your demand that you be paid out for the season? Thank you for cooking for me this season. I appreciate you. I'ma leave you be.
Can you say that again?
You can look right down there on page 112. I'ma leave you be.
What was your question?
I'm not finished. Thank you for cooking for me for this season. You can read along and correct me if I get it wrong. I appreciate you. Hate it even got like this. Right?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. And you were really hoping that Mr. Diggs would give you some money so you could open your own restaurant, weren't you?
Objection.
That was our agreement.
That was what you wanted him to give you, right?
That was an agreement.
Ma'am, is this a contract suit?
Objection.
This is an assault.
That objection is sustained. Witness doesn't have to answer.
Withdrawn, Your Honor. Thank you.
There's no question in front of the witness.
You wanted him to pay you to open your own restaurant, right?
I wanted to pay me past wages.
Okay. Just one moment, Your Honor, please. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything else?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Commonwealth calls Kenneth Ellis of the Devon Police.
much, Steph. You're going to remain standing and face the court.
Thank you. Sir, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Let me sit stand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, see?
Go right ahead. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, it's Kenneth Ellis, Ellis.
And what do you do for a living?
Dedham police officer.
And how long have you been an officer at the Dedham Police?
18 years.
And what's your rank?
Patrolman.
And prior to being an officer at Dedham, did you go anywhere else? Were you an officer anywhere else?
I was not.
So prior to being an officer at Dedham Police, did you go through any sort of special training or academy?
I did. I went through a police academy in Randolph.
And how long was that? What did you do in the police academy?
I was about 25 weeks, I believe. Everything from law, different aspects of the law, criminal law, constitutional law, motor vehicle. We had emergency vehicle operation, firearms, report writing, first aid, things like that.
Turning your attention now to December 16th, 2025. Do you recall if you were working that day?
I was.
And do you know what shift?
I was working the day shift, 8 to 4.
And were you out on duty, patrol? What were you doing?
I was assigned to the front desk.
Okay. So when an officer is assigned to the front desk, what are their duties?
You basically just any walk-ins. Sometimes we have the business phone rings, the non-emergency line.
When you say walk-ins, is that just someone literally?
Yeah, anyone can walk. It's people, ranging from, oh, may I use the restroom, or I'd like to make a report, anything. Yeah, anytime someone comes in, we greet them.
And during that day, did anyone come in?
Yes.
And do you know who that person would be?
We had Mila Adams.
And when this person came in, you didn't know who that was at the time?
No.
Okay. And she came in. What, if any, observations did you make of her when she came in?
She sat down on the bench and she was crying.
All right. And did you approach her, or did you wait for her to approach you? How did that?
I actually went. Normally, I speak over the phone. There's a phone to talk to the people in the lobby.
Like behind glass?
Yes. Yeah. It's like almost like a smoked glass. But because of her demeanor, I went out to speak to her in person.
And did she want to talk to you at first?
No, she did not.
And why?
She asked if there were any female officers working.
And what did you say?
I actually went back to the shift commander's office and I checked the scheduling sheets, and it appeared that there was not one until 4 p.m. that day.
So what did you do?
So I went back and I let her know, and I just told her that, she didn't feel comfortable giving me a statement towards anything, then that's okay. And, if she could come back at 4 o'clock. And then I went back to the desk, I believe, for a bit.
And then what happened?
Then she called me back over and said she would like to give me a statement.
And where did you talk?
So right after you enter the lobby area, there's double doors, and then to the right of the double doors, there's kind of like an interview room. So we do fingerprints for like civilian things, gun permits, things like that.
And what did you talk about?
So she just wanted to give me a statement without mentioning anyone involved.
So what do you mean she didn't want to mention anyone involved?
Well, she said, I'd like to tell you something.
Sustain.
But eventually, did you come to learn the identity of the person that she was talking there about?
I did.
Who was that person?
She identified him as Stefon Diggs.
And how many times did you talk to Miss Adams?
Just that time in person, and then I believe there was multiple emails, and then it was probably 2 more times on the phone, maybe 3.
I want to draw your attention to the binder in front of you.
Sure.
Do you mind looking at that first, flip the page to that first one, that first tab? There's something in front of you. This is what was previously marked as Exhibit 1. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes, that was, those were screenshots of text messages that she forwarded me.
So those are the messages that she provided you, right?
Yes. Yep.
That one page, yes. At the conclusion of all your communications with her, what did you do?
So that day, you mean, or
just at the, I guess, end of, would you call this an investigation? I don't know enough the police term.
Yeah. So like once
Incident, I don't know.
at the end of it, which was about 10 days or so, maybe 8, 9, 10 days from the time that she originally reported it, I ended up filing a criminal complaint.
Against whom?
Mr. Diggs.
And for what?
Was assault and battery, and strangulation or suffocation.
No further questions.
Good morning, sir.
I'm going to start at the end there. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
You said you've been a Dedham police officer for 18 years?
Yes, sir.
You just told us a little bit about the investigation, I think is what the DH has described it as. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, essentially.
Yeah. And so that involved what you just said. You took a statement from Miss Adams, you exchanged emails, you got a couple phone calls from her, and then you got a voicemail from her asking you to go to court, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then that's what you did.
I did contact a phone number of Mr. Diggs twice, left voicemails, and was not able to speak to him.
That phone number, you don't know that that's his, correct? You didn't speak to anybody.
One of them, I did use the TLO service to confirm his name. It was a 240 exchange.
So I just want to be sure here, Officer Ellis. You called the phone number, correct?
Yes.
You didn't speak to anybody.
No, I did not.
You spoke on the phone to Miss Adams, correct? You spoke in person with Miss Adams on the 16th, right?
I believe it was the 16th, yes.
Right. You didn't speak to any other people, correct? That's
No.
the only human being you spoke to.
No, there was another attorney I spoke to, but I don't believe from your firm.
Okay, so some other attorney.
Yes.
All right. You didn't get any photographs, right?
No, there was none presented.
And there was none to take, right?
Not from me, no.
Right,
Absolutely.
because when Miss Adams walked in and you observed her,
Yep.
You didn't see anything on her body that said, I should document that.
I did not, no.
And your job is to document what's important, right?
Correct.
And that's why you write a police report.
Yes,
And so about December 16th, you did write a police report, correct?
I did, sir.
And that was documenting the conversation that you had with Miss Adams, right?
Yes.
And you said you've been a police officer for 18 years. I imagine you've written a lot of police reports.
I would say so.
Okay. And you've spoken to a lot of folks, correct?
Yes.
And you know that you write that report to record all of the important information that
Yes.
that person has,
Yes.
right? To document it.
Correct.
And that's what you did in this case, right?
To the best of my ability, yes.
Yes. And so when you spoke to her on December 16th, Miss Adams told you that there was a dispute over text message with Mr. Diggs, correct?
Yes, the initial disagreement, I suppose.
Yeah, and
started
that the
over
disagreement
text
was,
messages.
was about money,
That's
right?
that's what I
That's
was
what she
told.
said.
Yes,
She said they were arguing about money over text messages,
correct.
right?
Correct.
And then he came into her room and this thing happened, correct?
That's what she told me. Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, she left her position, right?
That's what. Yeah, she said. Yep.
Meaning her job.
Correct.
And then she told you she did go back to the house on December 9th to get her things, to get her belongings, correct? Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And then the next thing she told you was that she, in that interim period, after she left her position, she went to New York City on December 2nd to be with friends, correct?
Yes,
And when she said that, those were her friends, right?
that's what I believed.
Right. You didn't think she was going to go see somebody else's friends,
No,
correct?
no.
Yes. And it'd be important to you to know if those were Stefon Diggs' friends, right?
I suppose.
That'd be important to your investigation,
Yeah,
wouldn't it be?
yeah.
Okay. And so another thing that was important, I think you already talked about, that was Exhibit 1. You got that right in front of you, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so Miss Adams had said there was an argument over text about money that ended in a physical altercation, correct?
Correct.
And you asked her for the text messages, right?
I believe she offered them. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes.
And you took them because
Yes.
accepting the text messages that led to physical altercation would be important, right?
Correct.
You want to have that.
Right.
You want to document that.
Right.
All right. And so that's what that is. You received those from Miss Adams by email, correct?
Yes. I did.
And then you documented them, you saved them, and they're sitting right there in front of you right now for trial, correct?
Correct.
All right. And looking at those text messages, if somebody deleted messages from that before they ever sent it to you, that would be important for you to know, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
If those weren't complete,
Correct. It would,
you would want to know that.
I'd want the whole picture. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. If I may have one moment, Your Honor.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
No redirect, Commonwealth rests.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I wanted to stop it for 1 second because guess what? The verdict is in. As we were watching day 2, the verdict is in. If y'all think that he is found not guilty, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that he is guilty, put a 2 in the chat. Because we're about to watch the verdict. It's already in. They deliberated for 2.2 seconds. I think he's not guilty.
Yes.
On count 1, strangulation or suffocation, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count 2, the charge of assault and battery, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Madam Forelady, members of the jury, hearken to your verdict as the court has recorded it. Upon your oath, you say that the defendant is not guilty of the count of strangulation or suffocation and not guilty of the count of assault and battery. So say you, Madam Forelady?
Yes.
So say all members of the jury.
Yes.
You know this Negro not gonna have
All
2.
right, thank you, jurors. Please be seated for a moment.
Now, just because, boy, you was found not guilty, I don't think you didn't do it.
Jurors, I told you during this trial and in my instructions that the verdict was your responsibility and your responsibility alone. Jurors, I want to thank each of you for your careful attention and your service throughout this trial. This case has involved a heightened level of public attention.
Even his
Despite that, you have remained focused on the evidence presented in this courtroom and the law as I instructed you. That is exactly what is required, and it is essential to the fair administration of justice. I recognize that serving as a juror in any case can be demanding, and in a case such as this, it may have required additional patience and sacrifice. The court is grateful for the seriousness and integrity with which you have carried out your responsibilities. Now that your service is complete, you are free to discuss the case with others if you choose, but you are not required to do so. You should not feel any obligation to speak with anyone, including members of the media. If you are approached, you may simply decline. Whether or not to speak is entirely your decision. All I can say is that on behalf of the court and the parties, thank you again for your public service, and you are now excused with the thanks of the court.
All rise, jurors, and step down.
Strangulation. Sir, you've been found not guilty on the following charges: strangulation or suffocation and assault and battery. Such charges will automatically be sealed by the Office of the Commissioner of Probation and the Clerk's Office, unless you notify the Commissioner of Probation in writing within 10 days that you do not want the charges sealed, using the request not to seal court records under General Laws, Chapter 276, Section 100C form, which is available on mass.gov. The request not to seal form must be sent to the Office of the Commissioner of Probation
Yes.
or email to the addresses provided on the form. If you want copies of any documents associated with these charges, you must request them immediately before the charges are sealed. Once the charges are sealed, you will not have access to related documents unless you file a motion with the court asking to unseal. Sir, you've been found not guilty. You're free to go, sir.
Court, all rise.
Just all media, you can step outside now, media, please.
Court stands at a recess.
And just like that, he walks away. I mean, listen, y'all know money talks. This is just how I feel. With his history, it ain't unlikely that he didn't put his hands on her. I mean, he's been putting his hands on folks now, but he was found not guilty. And I knew that it would more than likely, after I watched day 2, I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna work. Simply because there was no evidence. I mean, there's no evidence. They have to have some type of evidence. There was none. So even y'all, I don't know if y'all want to continue to watch day 2, but in day 2, they testified that she told one of his, I think it was his braider, the braider testified that she told her that she was going to get him. So I was just like, nah, he is not going to be found guilty on this. So, nothing was adding up. It just wasn't adding up. So if he had did this to her, she just didn't have the proof to be able to prove that it actually happened. So I don't know. I don't really know how did they even get this far in terms of, charging him with this, because even when we can finish watching day 2, the lady that braided his hair basically said that she was going to get him, and it makes it look like, that she just went after him for whatever reason. Now, this is just the remainder of the trial. If you guys want to continue to watch, because you'll be able to kind of see why he was found not guilty. Because when I watched this, I was like, oh, no. The evidence just was not there. It wasn't there. Like, you have to be able to prove that a person did beyond a reasonable doubt. You said he choked you. You don't have anything read, and then people that was with her days after it happened, or even hours later, she appeared to be happy and no marks. She's light-skinned, no marks. So, I don't know. It just wasn't believable. All right, let's fast forward this. I don't remember why they're not. Yeah, I'm not sure why they charged him with this, and then they get in court and don't really have nothing to say. It's kind of like,
How long have you worked?
let me back a little bit. All right, so this guy is about to come up. But I kind of knew this was going to happen. Day 1, I was skeptical. Day 2, I was like, yeah, this is not going to work.
All right, the Commonwealth rests any evidence for the defense?
Yes, because he is a douchebag. That he is. He's not a nice person.
You can just remain standing, watch your step, and face the front.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I did. You may sit.
Let me proceed. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name for the jury?
Yes, my name is Michael Perry, last name Perry.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I do digital forensics for a company called Level Blue.
Okay. And how long have you worked for that company in that role?
Essentially 15 years through a number of acquisitions. Level Blue recently acquired 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿, who I worked for a number of years.
All right. So you've been in your position for a number of years, essentially with the same company. The name has changed at the top of the header. Is that fair to say?
That is.
All right. Prior to that, what kind of experience did you have?
Your Honor, Commonwealth would stipulate that this witness's credentials.
All right, thank you. I'll leave
I'm
it
gonna
to your discretion.
Move along. Thank you. So just quickly, prior, what was your experience to working for the company that ended up becoming Level Blue?
I worked for 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿. Prior to that, Aon. Then Aon acquired 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿. 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿 acquired Elysium Digital. So that was kind of the progression. But I held the same position.
Okay. And before that, did you work as an investigator of any kind?
I did. I worked for the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department as a digital evidence analyst.
How long did you do that?
It was about 5 years.
Okay, so my math is correct, you've been analyzing digital evidence for about 20 years then?
That's right.
And you have to undergo certain kinds of specialized training on how to do that?
Yes.
And I imagine if technology is developing, you have to kind of get retrained on that fairly often. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Do you have any experience in dealing with digital data with regard to iPhones?
I do.
Right. And can you just describe kind of when we're talking about digital data from a phone, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Digital data from a phone is, data stored on the phone is extracted out. So I have special tools, forensic tools that I use to connect to the phone, pull all the data that I can from it, and then I load it into some applications to look at the data and find out what data is stored there. And, I can put together reports of data that might be relevant to a case.
Okay. And so when you say data, what does that mean?
So for a phone, it would include the things that you would use your phone for. History of phone calls, text messages, pictures that you take with the phone, maybe some internet browsing.
So when a user does all those things on a phone, is there kind of information recorded inside the phone tracking the user's movements?
It can, yeah. Whatever the user does with the phone typically is stored on the phone.
Understood. I'm going to ask you to take a look at the binder in front of you, Mr. Perry. I'm going to ask you to turn to, I believe it's marked C.
Okay.
You see that front page there, it looks like it says Celebrate at the top right corner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. What are we looking at there in Exhibit 3?
This is the first page of a report that I put together after preserving one of two of Mr. Diggs's phones. So this is the first page of one of those reports.
All right. And so the report you're talking about, fair to say that's a number of pages there in Exhibit 3, correct?
It is.
All right. And that contains data from the phone that you just mentioned from December 2nd. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
I'm going to ask that you turn the page in Exhibit 3 to, there's a little number on the bottom right corner that says 113 on the right. It ends 113, I should say.
I think some of you guys don't know anything about this case. She did not live in the state that he lived in. She lived in Georgia. So I would assume her car would have been in Georgia. A lot of times when you do work for people, you will use their car, because even if she used her own car, he would have to reimburse her. That's why during this trial, you will learn that there was another lady that was like his house manager or something like that. She would always use his car. It's best to use their car, because then they don't have to reimburse you for your expenses. If you got in an accident, it would be like you're using their car. So a lot of times when people have people to work in their homes and do stuff, they'll have them use their vehicle. So it's not unheard of. So she obviously would have had her own car, but she didn't live in the state that he was staying in. She literally went to stay with him to, I guess, provide his meals.
Okay.
All right. So I want to kind of direct your attention here to this two messages in the middle of the page. The first begins, you will be paying me out for the season and the money you said you would give me for my business, and continues. Do you see that kind of blue bubble that we're looking at there?
I do.
Right.
Right. And the people putting in the chat that he can make her pay for his attorney fees. No, she's not the one that filed a criminal case on him. That comes from that state. So I know y'all like, oh, you know, she should have to pay him for his attorney's fees. This is not a civil trial. This is a criminal case. So, you know, if you want somebody to pay his fees, then he have to go after the state. Y'all know the state does this all the time. They'll put charges on somebody, but if you beat them, okay, great, you beat them. That don't mean that they're gonna pay your attorney fees.
What are we seeing on the page here of the report when you see the blue bubble on the left and the green bubble on the right?
So this is an exchange of messages from the two parties. And you might think like, oh, I know blue bubbles and green bubbles. That's familiar. Like blue bubble is an Apple iPhone and a green might be an Android. But in this case.
Okay, guys, y'all, it was really, do y'all not, this happens all the time. Like people go to trial and they're found not guilty. So unfortunately, you can't sue the state. I mean, if that was the case, a lot of people would be suing the state. This happens a lot where people take their case to trial and they're found not guilty. I don't know where a lot of you guys are from, but we watched the YSL trial. Well, I know I didn't do it on my channel, but there was one person in the YSL trial that got off and didn't get a one conviction. That boy had spent years in jail. So y'all keep saying sue the state. I don't know if that's a thing, because if that was the case, then I think a lot of people would be doing it. So this is not uncommon for somebody to take a case to trial and win. This is not uncommon. I feel like their case was very weak, though. I'm not understanding why they filed the case and really didn't get up, didn't talk about nothing. They did a terrible job with their cross-examination. They didn't object to anything. So I just didn't understand what was the reason for this case when it seems like they didn't really have any evidence at all, you know? So I don't know. I don't know very much about that state, but I'm not understanding why they actually filed this case.
It's just to distinguish between the two parties. So the color doesn't really mean much here in that both parties had iPhones. So these are all just iMessages. But the report is in conversation view. So it's meant to look like you're looking at a phone. And so, the owner of the phone, Mr. Diggs, is the messages on the right in green, and on the left.
I know y'all be just running y'all mouth because y'all could just put anything in the chat. So at this point, I'm going to start ignoring you because some y'all put stuff in the chat. You have no information. You don't even put in what you're talking about. You can sue the state. You can sue anybody. That don't mean you're going to win and you be making a complete fool out of yourself. What's the law then? If you can sue the state, tell me the law. If you can't tell me the law or specifically what you're talking about, you're just saying stuff, then it's just clear you just want to talk because you're just saying stuff. Then you say he can sue her. Okay, well, sue her. I'm sure you can sue anybody, but suing the state, what would be the case? Like, what would be the reason? Generally, when you sue, it is, you say, like, let's say somebody defamed you, defamation. Tell me what would be the case if he sues the state. I'm just curious. Like, what would be the grounds for suing the state? I just want to know.
Their messages from Miss Adams in there in blue.
Okay. And fair to say, in terms of Mr. Diggs and Miss Adams specifically, that those are, you don't know Miss Adams, correct?
I do not.
You're just going off of the contact information in the phone and the cellular phone number on the page?
That's correct.
Please turn to the next page ending 114. So looking at this box on the top left corner of the box on the left, that page has a bubble that says, "In ruining that bitch life." Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right. Up in the top left corner of that, there are two phone numbers. What are those two phone numbers? What's the significance of the data in the top left corner?
They're it's the contact information for both parties that are in this conversation. So you have a from number. The stored contact name is Mila Chef. And then you have the two, which is the owner of the phone who's receiving the message. That's the numbers in the top left.
Okay. And so would those be the two phones having the conversation in the iMessage chat?
Yes.
Kind of going down to the middle of the page, it indicates there's a time there that says 12/2/2025, 5:35:01 p.m. UTC +0. Can you explain what that means?
Yes, that's the time stamp when the message was read. And UTC is it's a universal time coordinated, which just means universal time, which is the time basically in London at the time. And it's kind of like a standard to base.
I know some of you guys are saying like whenever someone makes a report, from my understanding, you can make a report, but I always assume that there will be some level of investigation. So it seemed like they didn't do anything. I mean, just based on this case and how the district attorney didn't ask any questions. So even when the police came on the stand, he says, well, she made the report and I filed, and I'm just like, you didn't do any. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I always thought that they did some level of investigation. I would think getting her statement would be one, but then maybe speaking to some other people. And it don't even seem like they did anything. So this is very odd.
Timestamps off of where at the time of this message in December of 2025, we're not in daylight savings time. So our time zone is -5. So Eastern is -5 from that UTC time.
All right. So the UTC +0, you would need to subtract 5 to get to Eastern Standard?
That's correct.
All right. And so looking down at the bottom here of that same message, in the bottom right corner, it says 12/2/2025, 5:34, 43 seconds PM, UTC +0. What's that?
That's the time the message was delivered to the phone.
And when you say the phone, that would be the user's phone?
That would be the user's phone, Mr. Dix's phone in this case.
And again, the same calculation would apply. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So that message was delivered to Mr. Diggs's phone at 12:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
That's correct.
Looking at this box, the kind of corner, the bottom right corner we just talked about, you said that's when it was delivered to the phone, the user's phone. Is there any way any other way, I should say, for one of these blue boxes, one of these messages to appear in an iMessage chat?
No, I mean, it's just sent from the user that's part of the conversation that we see here.
Okay. And so the user in the right on the green, is there any way that that person could create a message on the other side of the conversation?
No, a user is not able to insert a message into a conversation just on one side of, in their own phone.
So a user could insert messages into iMessage on their own side of the conversation, but not on the side of the person they're talking to.
They can only send the message. They can't go into a conversation and just put a message in there. It has to be sent in that two-way communication.
Conversely, if the user of an iPhone wanted to erase messages on their side of the iMessage chat, would that be possible?
Yes.
If, just directing your attention to the bottom right of page 114, there's a green box on the right. That's a message Mr. Diggs sent. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. If that message were deleted, would you be able to tell from the data that was extracted?
Possibly.
Okay.
And the reason why is that on an iPhone, if you delete a message, it actually gets retained for 30 days. So if you have an iPhone, you can go back and recover that message. Maybe if you deleted it by accident or something, you can recover it within 30 days. After 30 days, it's not recoverable.
All right. And so you could see the data for 30 days if a user deleted it, if you extracted their phone, correct?
Within that 30 days.
All right. How about if they deleted it and you just looked at the screen?
If they deleted it and you looked at the screen, no, you'd have to go to the menu and look at recently deleted.
If I may have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Just a few more questions, Judge. Apologies. I'm going to ask you, Mr. Perry, to turn to Exhibit 4. That's marked D. And I only got a couple questions for you on this. So I'm going to ask you to turn to the page that is marked 182, bottom right corner.
Okay.
All right. And so fair to say there's a message there that in the bottom left corner says, reacted to, all good. You know, I try not to make things bigger than what they are. You got your own life and things you deal with. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So going to the time in the bottom right corner of that message, it says 12/11/2025, 8:37, 21 seconds AM UTC -5. Can you explain what that means time-wise?
Yes. So this is UTC -5, which means it's Eastern time because it's in December. So it's Eastern time zone. And what that means is for this report, after I preserved the phone, I loaded it into the application, my forensic application, and it parses the data that I extracted from the phone, and it recognizes that it looks like this phone is in Eastern time zone. Would you like me to translate the timestamps into that? And for this one, I hit yes. And so it's giving us a timestamp that's translated to Eastern time when where the phone was used. The other report, I must have hit no for that, and it was just UTC.
Okay. And so Exhibit 3, there is no conversion in the actual report. In Exhibit 4, there is for the time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Kamal, any questions?
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the Exhibit 3, this extraction, when did you perform this extraction?
This extraction was April 13th, I believe it was.
And Exhibit 4, when did you perform that exact extraction?
I believe that was the next day.
So is that these text messages were sent in December?
December 2025.
So the extraction report you did in April was beyond the 30 days, right?
That's correct.
So if someone had deleted messages from this, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Not from looking at this phone, no.
Right. Nothing further.
Anything further? No. Thank you, sir. You may sit down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's called Janelle Salas.
Now, this is when it's going to start to go into shit, okay? There's 3 women that's going to testify. After I heard their testimony, I was
Swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, they do.
You may sit or stand, whatever you feel.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Janelle Salas, S-A-L-E-S.
Where are you from?
Maryland.
What do you do for a living, Miss Salas?
I am the chief of staff to Mr. Diggs.
You say Mr. Diggs, is that Stefon Diggs?
Correct.
How long have you been Mr. Diggs' chief of staff?
Since July 2023.
What are your responsibilities? What do you do day to day as his chief of staff?
I manage all the moving parts. It also varies between during the season or off season, calendar management, vendor management, and I'm pretty much the liaison between his marketing and talent agency. If I need to speak to finance, anything that comes up with his agent, anything personal, family related.
Sounds like quite a bit there. Okay. You said it varies by whether it's in the off season or the season. What does that mean?
So during the season, the calendar is pretty much structured for about 20 weeks, depending how long it goes, from camp all the way until the end of the season. So there's a strict schedule day to day, pretty much from 7 to 6 p.m. And then off season, it varies between training, traveling, and other business commitments.
Okay. And so you've been saying season and off season. Fair to say Mr. Diggs is a professional football player?
Correct.
And so that would be the football season?
Correct.
You said that in the off season, in the regular season, there is kind of schedules that you have to liaise with the team on, correct?
Correct.
Right. In the off season, it's more a schedule that you and Mr. Diggs can set then?
Correct.
When is the football season? What time of year?
Preseason, I would say July. So that's when we start preparing for camp. And then it starts, the actual NFL preseason is August. And then the official NFL season begins in September.
Okay. And when does it end?
If you go all the way through, January and February.
All right. So December is during the
season,
NFL season?
Regular season.
Regular season. Among the things I think you just mentioned that you have to kind of arrange is living arrangements, places to live.
Correct.
All right. And have you lived in different places, or have
Correct.
you helped kind of secure housing over different places?
Yes.
And where's that been the last few years?
When I first started with him, it was between Buffalo, Houston, Miami, and then as of the past season, Dedham, Massachusetts.
All right. How did that house in Dedham, Massachusetts come to be the place where Mr. Diggs lived?
I got connected with a realtor through a mutual business associate, and he found this open home for rent because the goal is to rent a home. And so they found this space, and we looked at it. We did the walkthrough, and it was pretty much the only one that was really available in the area because it was super limited, and it fit the needs.
Stop you there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So you were involved essentially in setting up that house?
Correct.
All right. I want to talk to you for a moment as well about other employees, contractors, those types of things.
Okay.
Are you involved at all in hiring or kind of arranging different services?
Yes.
Right. And so what would those be, generally speaking?
During the season, it would be his wellness and maintenance schedule. So it's massage therapists, nurses for his IV therapy, hair, nails, esthetician, just pretty much did regular maintenance on his body to just keep him going throughout the season.
Okay. And in terms of any other employees, have you had to try to, arrange for flights,
Yes.
drivers?
Correct.
What about a chef?
This past one, we were just familiar. He was friends with her.
All right. Let me go back before. Have you hired chefs before in the
Correct.
past?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Yes.
In terms of just kind of the process of hiring drivers, chefs, masseuses, anybody else, is there a normal process for engaging someone for their services?
We vet them out. I typically have I ask someone that was already a trusted resource, and I vet them out through them. We get paperwork, we come to agreements to terms. Sometimes they have a contract, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have an NDA, sometimes they don't. It really is dependent on the relationship. And also, especially if they're new, they they get the full on package, basically. NDA,
All the paperwork you just
W-9,
described.
correct.
Okay. So you mentioned you didn't have paperwork for the most recent chef. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
And what's that person's name?
Mila
Do you know Mila's last name?
Adams,
All right. When did Mila Adams start working as the chef?
July of 2025.
Where did she work?
In Dedham at the house.
All right. Did she live in the house as well?
Correct.
Who were the other people who spent time in that house and or lived in it?
Spent time in it. I spent time in it when I would visit for games. His brother visited, one of his childhood best friends, photographer, videographer, mom, and other business associates and any friends that would come and visit.
Okay. Were there kind of permanent or assigned bedrooms in that house?
There was a general understanding of whose room, who stayed in which room, and pretty much if you got there, it's like first come, first serve. So there was only just 2 assigned rooms.
All right. Did Mr. Diggs have an assigned room?
Correct, he did.
And where was that house?
It was the main primary bedroom. When you walk upstairs, there's the first immediate bedroom. There's a landing and a laundry room, and it's the first immediate bedroom to your right.
All right. You just walked us in the house there for a moment. Could you just describe what the layout of the downstairs looks like?
So generally, there's a big grand foyer. When you walk into the house from the front door, there's a formal living room. To the right, there is a office to the left. There, when you walk up, it's about 2 steps and you go up, there's a formal dining room on the right. And then you walk up, it's an open concept. So it's an open living room and an open kitchen to the front of you. To the left of that is the stairs going upstairs to the 4 bedrooms. And then there's a stairs that go downstairs, right underneath the stairs that go up to 2 bedrooms in the basement.
Okay. Did Miss Adams have a room in that house?
She did.
Where was that?
So when you walk upstairs to the landing part, to the third floor, you walk up the second flight of stairs, which is about 4 or 5 steps. There's a bedroom to the right. And then there's 2 bedrooms to the left. She lived, her room was the last bedroom all the way down the hallway on the left side.
I think you just described that this was an open set.
Yes, it's open. So it basically looked like there was a bridge, like a U bridge from the upstairs looking down, because the middle of the house, you can look down and you can see everything.
Okay.
And you can look up and you can see the hallways of both going into all 3 bedrooms.
Understood. So different people at the house, did you have a key?
I had a key to the front door.
Okay. Were there any other security systems set up at the house other than just locks?
The garage, and then doors for like her bedroom and his bedroom.
Okay. And that is that.
And his closets.
All right. Any other measures on the house?
Garage door. I know there was a ring camera system, an alarm system, but other than that, nothing out of the ordinary.
Got it. So I want to direct your attention to December 2nd, 2025.
Okay.
Were you working that day?
Yes.
Where were you?
I was at the house. It was the day after the Monday night football game, and I had a hair appointment because we were getting ready to leave for a trip.
Where were you going?
Miami, Florida.
Who was going to Miami, Florida?
Miami trip consisted of Mr. Diggs, myself, his brother, his childhood best friend, and another close friend of his.
Who had made the arrangements to get that group of people to Miami?
Me.
When did you start making those arrangements?
The week prior, once we figured out the logistics. I typically try to do things a few days prior just because of the requirements that some of the travel vendors need from us, and because it's such a busy week. So I try to book as soon as possible.
All right. What was going on in Miami?
He had Art Basel, which is a art festival, art fair, and he was showcasing his, he was debuting his furniture line.
So Mr. Diggs has a furniture line?
Correct.
That week, was he not working? Was he missing a game? What was happening?
So Monday night, he had the Monday night football game, and it was going into his bye week.
What's a bye week?
Bye week is pretty much the 1 week that the NFL gives to players where they're pretty much off. They just have to report back on the scheduled day that it's typically like 4 or 5 days off, no meetings. They can go on vacation. They come back that Monday.
All right.
Regular scheduled programming.
And the plan was to go to the Art Basel, is what it was
Correct.
called?
Correct. Yes.
In Miami during the bye week.
Yes.
Anything else going on in Miami?
We were also celebrating his birthday,
What day is his birthday?
November 29th.
Right. So his birthday had already come and gone, correct?
Yes.
All right. And was there a birthday party that week?
There were at his house or in Miami?
In Miami, I mean.
In Miami, correct, there was.
You mentioned that there was a game the night before. What time's the Monday night game start, if you know?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock p.m.?
Mhm.
So you know when it ends?
Probably midnight, and we probably didn't get out of there until like 2 a.m.,
Got it.
maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
So that morning you said you were getting a hair appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that?
It was at the Dry Bar in Chestnut Hill, and my appointment was at 10 a.m.
How did you get there?
I drove.
Do you have a car?
No,
Whose car did you drive?
I drove Mr. Diggs' car.
Got it. And how long did that take you to get to the hair appointment, if you remember?
About 30, 35 minutes because of traffic and the weather.
You mentioned that there was a Ring video system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at a video that is on Exhibit 11. One moment. That's fine.
Council, if you need a minute, because I can take the morning recess now, if that's helpful. That's okay, whatever. All right, let's do this. Let's give you a second and everyone, oh, wait, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, somebody is wearing me out about what does this mean? Please, somebody tell me if she has small teeth. Okay, what the hell does that mean?
Yes, if we could play that. And for the record, that's a video ending in the number 602. Do you recognize what we just saw there?
Yes, that's Mr. Diggs' Maybach.
Okay. And what's happening that
He left for work.
Where were you?
I was in the car, probably waiting to leave and warming up the car to go.
Okay. And you weren't in that car that we just saw
No,
drive out.
I was in
correct?
his Porsche.
I'm happy to continue, Judge, but we have a while further, so it might make
No,
sense.
that's fine. Why don't we take, jurors, why don't we take the morning recess? I think there should even be some coffee back there for you for a moment, all right? All right.
All rise, jurors can step down this way, please.
All right, I'm going to fast forward it because they're going on another break. So let me get y'all right here.
head of
Right, we're back.
May be seated.
Court, all rise. This honorable court is back in session. You may be seated.
Let me resume your. Yes. Thank you. Ms. Salas, we just watched a video off of Exhibit 11, and I think you said that was Mr. Diggs going to work.
correct,
What kind of car was that?
a Maybach.
Okay. You said you were in a Porsche warming the car up?
Correct.
I'm going to ask you to, first I'm going to ask Ms. Silva to play a video there ending in 610. I ask you to watch that, Ms. Salas. So if we replay that, you can get a look at it, Ms. Salas. If we can pause it right there real quick. All right, so do you recognize what that video depicts?
Yes,
What's that?
it's the Porsche leaving the house.
Who's driving
Me.
that? That's you leaving the house?
Yes.
All right. And if I can direct your attention here. The time on the exhibit is 9:26 Eastern Standard Time on December 2nd, 2025.
Correct.
Does that sound about right for when you left the house that morning?
Yes. Because my appointment was at 10 a.m.
Okay. So looking at that image, can you tell us, kind of just orient us on what we're looking at there?
The car, so that's the front of the house, and there's a long driveway that goes towards the back of the house to a 3-car garage and a driveway where you can probably fit maybe 2 or 3 more cars in the actual plot in front of the garage.
All right. Is there a way to enter the house through the garage?
Yes, there's an entry door going straight into the grand foyer of the house. There's the basement entry, stairwell, a powder room on the right, the entry stairwell to the basement to the left. And when you walk straight, there's the grand foyer. In front of you is the dining room, and then the formal living room. And then to the left is the living room and the kitchen.
Okay.
And the stairwell going up to the 3rd floor.
Going upstairs.
Yes.
All right. And so did you go through the garage to drive that Porsche out that morning?
Yes.
Do you remember getting back to the house?
Yes.
Do you remember what time that was?
It was in the afternoon after I had ran my errands from my hair appointment.
Okay. What I would ask is if Miss Silva could play a video with the last 3 numbers, 637, off of that same exhibit, Exhibit 11. If we could maybe replay that one more time, it's only about 3 seconds. All right, so do you recognize what that depicts?
Yes, it's the car returning home.
And is that you driving the car?
Yes.
Right. And the timestamp on that indicates it's 12:59:59 Eastern Standard Time. It's just about 1 p.m. Is that consistent with your recollection of when you
Yes.
got home?
Yes.
What were you doing that day after you got your hair done?
I was coordinating our travels because I was getting updates from the airport regarding the change of airports, change of planes, and trying to just get everybody together
Okay.
to be ready to leave by the end of the night.
So you were working.
Correct.
And is there an area where you worked in the house?
In the kitchen, in the small little dining table, like in between the kitchen and the living room.
I'm going to ask Ms. Silva to play one more video for us. That's going to be 183725 on Exhibit 11.
Silly. Y'all putting all kind of stuff in the chat. Somebody talking about, I know this not the chef who this is about. This lady is really a personal assistant. She done gave herself chief of staff. Girl, you make like 80. I think she said he pays her 80-some thousand. You are an assistant. Now, the chef, you guys have to watch the video from yesterday, okay? We're in today too.
If we could try to replay that one more time as well. All right, so it looks like she's paused it here, a second into the frame. Do you recognize what's depicted in this video?
It's the Maybach coming home.
All right, is that Mr. Diggs?
Yes.
The timestamp on that looks like it says 15:38 and 51, so maybe 3:39, 3:40 p.m.
Yes.
Is that consistent with your recollection of when you got
Yes.
home?
Yes.
You said you were working that afternoon. Do you know where Mr. Diggs went in the house?
He likely went to say hi to his brothers and then went straight upstairs to take a nap because it's the day after a game.
Okay. Where were you sitting?
I was probably walking around the house, either the kitchen, probably going up and down to the basement because I was probably doing laundry, just running around the house.
Sustained. That response is stricken from the record. Jurors will disregard.
So let me ask you, you mentioned that you remembered doing something with flights and getting to the airport.
Correct.
What is that? What do you mean?
So because one of the airports that we usually travel frequently at, the Norwood Airport, there's limitations on the planes, and especially if the weather is bad, they typically recommend that we fly into another airport, which was Bedford.
Bedford, Massachusetts?
Correct.
So is that to say the weather was not great?
Correct.
December 2nd?
Correct.
That day,
Mm-hmm.
when you're making these phone calls, sending emails, doing whatever work you're doing to coordinate, you said you were downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anybody else walking around downstairs during that afternoon?
Mila was there, his brother was there, and his childhood best friend, and another friend was also arriving in, who had flown in to go to Miami with us.
Okay. You said Mila was there. Did you see her that afternoon?
Yes.
What did she look like?
She looked like she was going to work out. She had workout clothes on. She complimented on my hair. Just regular, just walking around the kitchen, probably around the house. Nothing out of the usual.
Okay. That afternoon, did you, is that the only time you saw Miss Adams? You see her again as the day
Towards
went
the
on?
in the evening, closer to the evening.
So after dark?
Yes, it was because it was getting dark at like 3:00 at that time. So by like 3:30, 4:00, maybe closer to 4:30, it was like dark.
Okay. So sometime after that, you think you saw Miss Adams again?
Yes, because I was sitting in the kitchen and she had asked me if I purchased her flight.
The flight, was that a flight to Atlanta?
Correct.
And when you spoke to her that afternoon in the kitchen, did you observe anything on her face?
No.
Anything on her neck?
No.
Did you see any redness or swelling?
No.
Was she crying at all?
No.
What was she doing?
She was walking around looking for a piece of a paper and a pen to write a card, to, I guess, write a note to him for his birthday gift.
When you say to him, is that to Mr. Diggs?
Correct.
That's that November 29th birthday you just referenced?
Yes.
That afternoon, was there anything on Mr. Diggs' schedule?
He had ozone therapy and massage.
So is that a nurse who comes and does fluids?
Yes.
And a massage, you said?
He has a massage therapist.
What time were those appointments?
I believe I told them both to come at 5.
Do you remember if those individuals actually appeared at the house?
Yes.
Did they?
I believe so.
That afternoon, you said you purchased a flight for Mila Adams to Atlanta?
Yes.
Did you arrange to get her to the airport?
Yes,
What time did that happen?
probably in the 7 o'clock hour because you have to be there an hour before checking in your bag, and it took about 45 minutes to get to the airport. So probably between 7 to 7:30.
You think about 7:30?
Yeah.
And so did she leave the house around 7:30?
She should have left around before 7:30 to get to the airport on time if she was checking in a bag.
And you saw her prior to that,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So is it the encounter you had in the kitchen
Yes.
with the pen and the card, I think you mentioned?
Yeah, she was running to go to his room to put it on, I guess, his gifts that she was giving him.
Did you end up speaking to Mr. Diggs later that evening?
Yes.
And did you see any of those, the card or the presents that you
Yes, there were 2 boxes on his bed from Chanel. One he had opened up and he put on after his massage, and we were getting ready to leave. I told him, we got to pack, we got to go, we got to make this flight. He put the beanie on. There was another box that was unopened, and then there was a green Post-it with whatever note she had on it telling for his birthday.
Right. Prior to speaking to Mr. Diggs, prior to arranging for
Yes.
Miss Adams' Uber, did you hear anything that afternoon?
No,
Any screams?
no,
Slam doors?
no,
Anything out of the ordinary?
no.
Do you know if Miss Adams cooked dinner that night?
It was like a hot dog. It was like and there was like mustard on it, but it was like left on the counter and it was like dried up. And then in the room, it was like dried up. So there was like 2 that were made.
Let me back you up on that. Do you know if she did cook dinner that night?
She did.
Where did she do that?
In the kitchen.
And what time did you see that?
I just remember the food being like prepared
Okay.
already.
And you mentioned it was a hot dog or something like
Yeah,
that?
it was like a hot dog, or like, like Auntie Anne's when they have like the pretzel dogs. It kind of looked like that, but it just looked dried up.
Okay. That night, did you all leave for Miami?
Yes.
If I may have one moment. I just want to recap on one issue.
Okay.
I think you said Miss Adams complimented your hair. Did she tell you anything else?
No. She was like, "Oh, your hair's getting long and it looks good." I was like, thank you.
Okay. Did she tell you she was assaulted,
No,
strangled?
no,
You're the chief of staff?
correct.
I have no further questions.
I'm over here. Mark.
Thank you. Good morning. And it's is it Sunny?
Yes, that's my nickname.
And that's is that SUNNYNIE? Is it?
SUNNY and then SUNNI.
Okay, so both ways?
Yes.
Okay. So right now you are the chief of staff, is that right?
Correct.
And how long have you been Mr. Diggs' chief of staff?
Since July 2023.
And prior to that, what was your position?
I manage his household, but it was part-time
Where
in
how long-
Maryland.
And how long did you do that?
September 2022 up until July 2023.
And prior to working with Mr. Diggs, what did you do?
I have been an independent consultant. I have been a project manager, event producer, and I consulted for companies for almost at that time, since 2017.
And right now, how much do you get paid by Mr. Diggs?
I would say between 90 to 100,000 a year.
And when you were, what was the term the previous job? The house manager?
Yes.
Oh, how much did you get paid when you did that?
I was on retainer for 5,000 a month.
And you mentioned you went to Art Basel?
Correct.
And how long was that?
That was from, we got there Tuesday evening up until the events were all the way through the weekend that Sunday.
And what kind of events were there?
There was a showcase of his furniture line, his birthday party, just, showcasing his new furniture line.
But and you went to these events?
Yes.
Did you have to pay for any of these events?
No. Like physically? Like my own money?
Yeah.
No.
And did you have food there?
Yes.
Did you have to pay for your food?
Not with my own money.
So.
With my company card.
Okay. So,
yes.
Thank you. You mentioned driving one of his cars. What car was that?
It was his Porsche.
Is it a nice car?
Yes.
How often do you drive that one?
If I need to go run errands, if I need to do something, I will use the car as an insured driver.
And when you say run errands, is that personal errands or errands for Mr. Diggs?
Both.
Okay. How often do you go on trips with the staff?
As needed, specifically for business trips, more so.
Okay. On December 2nd, you were at least at some point in the house, right?
Correct.
And you saw Ms. Adams?
Yes.
So she was there in the house?
Yes.
And you saw Mr. Diggs?
Yes.
So he was there in the house?
Yes.
Did you, was there any time that day where were you following Mr. Diggs the whole time?
No.
Were you following Ms. Adams the whole time?
No.
So there a time when both of them were outside of your range of being able to see?
Yes.
Have you been to Ms. Adams' room before?
Not all the way inside, but I knew which room she was in.
So you had not been inside that room before?
Not when she occupied it, but when we did the walkthrough, I was.
Okay, so when you were first looking at the house?
Yes.
But that day you were not in that room?
No.
Okay, so whatever could have happened in that room, you were unaware of anything that could have happened in that room?
Correct.
Your Honor.
Sustained in that form.
Is it fair to say that you have
We know that he was found not guilty. Had you had been here, you would know too. So we're watching the trial. We've already talked about him being found not guilty. Y'all need to get y'all ass somewhere and sit down. Y'all really be thinking y'all be telling something. Go away.
financial interest in Mr. Diggs doing well?
What does that mean?
If he does well, do you do well?
I think we collectively do well.
Is
Yeah,
he,
even outside of financially.
is he a good boss?
Yes, he's great.
Do you want to continue working for him?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Anything else for your witness?
I just have one question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned that you got to drive the Porsche.
Yes.
All right.
So for the people who may be confused because you just came, we know that he's been found not guilty. I'm letting them see why he was found not guilty because, I mean, they just didn't have enough evidence, but we have already watched that he is not guilty. But thank you for telling us, but we already knew that.
Would you lie under oath to get to drive the Porsche and work for Mr. Diggs?
What does that mean?
It's part of
She said,
lying
what does that mean?
under oath, your job.
What? I'm
Part
sorry.
of-
Can
is your job to lie, or would you be truthful?
I'll be truthful.
Okay. Who else got to drive that car?
Mila and anyone around the house, if they needed to use the car, they would drive it.
Did you see Mila drive that car?
I've seen her drive the car before.
I don't have any other questions.
Anything else?
When you say just other people around the house, about how many people does Mr. Diggs have working for him?
Employed, one.
So then otherwise they're all just contract or?
Correct.
Do you know about how many?
Depends, depending on the job, as needed.
Okay, do you know in this?
Objection, Your Honor. We're not outside the scope of the redirect.
Overruled.
Just in December, do you know?
I couldn't give that to you on the top of my head.
Nothing further.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you.
Defense calls Juliana Stratati.
Watch yourself. You can remain standing and face the clerk.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
You may sit or stand.
Good morning, ma'am. Could you please state your name for the record and spell your last name for the jury?
My name is Juliana Stratoti, Stratoti.
Are you from Massachusetts?
Yes,
What do you do for work?
I'm a registered nurse.
Right. Where do you work?
Full-time, I work at Mass General Hospital, and then I have a side, a per diem job at the Drip Bar.
What is the Drip Bar?
Drip Bar is a wellness and hydration service. It's a franchise, but we have a location in Foxborough.
Okay. And so what do you do as a nurse for the Drip Bar?
Provide like wellness services, hydration, like extra therapy for people that you don't get prescribed, like at a hospital or through your primary care physician.
Does some of that involve making house calls?
Yes,
On December 2nd, 2025, did you do some kind of treatment, a house call that afternoon?
I did.
And where was that?
At Mr. Diggs's house.
Right. And had you been to that house previously?
I had.
And that was at 7 Schoolmaster Street in Dedham, fair
Yes.
to say? Do you remember what time you got there?
Most of my appointments were 4, 5, or 6 o'clock. I think that day I got there at about 5 o'clock.
I may approach, Your Honor.
Yes, right in.
I'm going to put the image in front of you. I'm going to ask you to take a look at that and tell me if you recognize what that is.
That's me ringing or at the front door on the Ring camera.
All right. And is that a fair and accurate depiction of you arriving at the house on December 2nd, 2025?
Yes.
I would move to admit it's Exhibit 12.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Be so more.
And I'm going to show you another photograph and ask you to take a look at that.
That's me leaving the house on the Ring camera footage.
All right. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of you walking out of that house in the afternoon of December 2nd, 2025?
Yes.
I would move to admit it's Exhibit 13.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Be so more.
13. I'm going to put Exhibit 12 back in front of you and ask you, there's a timestamp in the bottom right corner.
Your Honor, may we be seated in sidebar?
Yes. Powell's objection is sustained.
A moment ago, I think you described when your appointments routinely were. Do you recall what time you got to the house in Dedham that afternoon on December 2nd?
That day I got there at 4:50
PM?
p.m.
And do you remember when you left the house?
According to the Ring camera footage, it was.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember when you left the house?
I don't remember exactly the time, but all of my appointments were roughly 45 minutes to an hour long.
All right. And so on December 2nd, 2025, do you think, how long do you think you were in the house?
Probably about an hour.
In the house, when you were doing the treatment, where did it actually occur physically inside the house?
In the living room.
So then fair to say you were in that house that afternoon for about an hour, maybe a little less?
Yes.
Okay. Anything out of the ordinary that day?
Not that I recall.
Hear anything unusual?
No.
Did you see anything unusual?
No.
I have no further questions. Matt?
Yes.
Good morning still. Had you gone to Mr. Diggs' house prior to this date?
I had
And how many times have you done this?
a handful of times. I think before that was 2 or 3. After that was a couple.
And without you saying the actual names of any of your clients, what kind of clientele do you have with this job?
It depends on what services they're looking for. So kind of all across the board.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you.
County Defense Call Stephanie Anastasi.
Just watch your step, and if you could just remain standing and face the court.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You sit or stand, whichever you prefer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
My first name is Stephanie. My last name is Anastasi, Anastassi.
And do you live in Massachusetts, Ms. Anastasi?
I currently live in Rhode Island.
Y'all so wrong.
I work in Massachusetts.
And what do you do for a
Good
living?
question.
I'm a massage therapist.
I think that's the one.
Are you employed in that work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
The Right Touch Day Spa in Attleboro, Mass.
And you provide massage therapy treatment to clients? Is that right?
Yes.
And as part of your work, do you need to visit clients in their home?
I do that separately on my own on the side.
I
Not, it doesn't have anything to do with where I work currently.
Okay, all right. And as part of your work treating clients, are some of your clients professional athletes?
Yes, sometimes.
All right. And was one of your clients in December of 2025, Mr. Diggs?
Yes.
And how did it come about that you were providing treatment for Mr. Diggs?
I used to work for the Celtics back in 2019. And whoever I used to work for, he's a physical therapist. He connected me with Mr. Diggs.
Okay, thank you. And you would provide massage therapy for Mr. Diggs at his home?
Correct.
About how often per week would you do that?
Twice a week.
All right. And where in the home would you provide that treatment?
Sometimes it was in the living room area, and sometimes it was in his bedroom.
Did you need any special equipment to provide your treatment?
He provided that. I do need some special equipment. Yes.
I see. So there was the equipment in the house?
Yes.
I take it you used a table?
Yes.
Any other equipment?
No, just a massage table, and I would use my cups, which is for cupping.
I see. Okay. Thank you. How long did a typical treatment take?
Between a 90-minute to 2 hours.
And did you give Mr. Diggs a treatment on December 2nd, 2025?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember approximately when you arrived at his home for that treatment?
It was between 5:45 and 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. And how did you get into the house?
I rang the doorbell and Sonny opened the door for me.
Okay, thank you. And what happened next?
Then I asked Sonny where he was or where he would like his massage at. She told me he was in his room and that's where he would like his massage. So I went and grabbed the massage table. It was in like a computer room. And I brought it upstairs and he was laying in his bed and I started setting up the table.
All right. And was Mr. Diggs, do you remember what he was doing when you walked in other than laying in his bed?
I think he was falling asleep a little bit, but I wasn't sure. It was just laying down.
Okay. So I take it you began the treatment?
So I set up, I grabbed the blankets and stuff, and then he fell asleep. So I texted Sunny and I was like, hey, can I wake him up? And she said yes. So I ended up waking him up, and then he got on the table.
Okay. And about how long was the treatment that day, if you can recall?
It was between 90 minutes to 2 hours usually. It was more towards the 2 hours than the 90 minutes.
All right. And did anyone come into that while you were performing that treatment in that 90-minute to 2 hour window?
Yes. Mila Adams came in the room at the time.
Okay. And how did you know Mila Adams?
I seen her in the house.
So you met her before?
I've seen her multiple times in the house.
Okay. Have you ever spoken to her?
Yes, we've had conversation.
Okay. So while you're performing the treatment, can you just explain to the jury what you saw?
Yeah, so I was working on his right side leg, and I can, because the door is in front of me and I can see whoever was walking in. She was walking in. She saw that he was asleep, left, and kind of came back at a later time. When she came back at a later time, he kind of woke up because he was asleep. And she kind of went over to the bed and she asked him, there was something on the bed. She asked him if he was going to keep it. And then he said yes. And then she turned around and left.
And were you able to see what was on the bed?
It was a black box, but I'm not sure what it was or what was in it.
And did you ever have any occasion to look in that box?
No.
All right. How did Ms. Adams appear to you when you saw her come into the room those two times?
She seemed to be okay. It's nothing that I wasn't used to seeing in the past.
So she looked to your eyes the same as she had in
the
every time you
past.
saw her?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see any marks on her face?
Not that I recall, no.
Did you see any marks on her neck?
No, she had a black jacket on, so I don't think I could see her neck, but I didn't see anything on her face at the time.
And did she seem upset at all to you?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. All right. And Miss Anastasia, do you remember when you left the house that day?
It's probably between almost 8 o'clock, 7:30 and 8 o'clock that day.
Okay. Thank you very much. No further
Of course.
questions.
Good afternoon, Miss Anastasia. Oh, sorry, good morning still, actually, Miss Anastasia.
Hello.
You said you had previously worked at the Celtics, and is it like kind of word of mouth that you got a job working for Mr. Diggs?
Yes.
In your line of work, how important is word of mouth in order to find new clients?
It's very important.
And outside of just actual, I guess, technique and skill, is discretion and care of how you, because you're working with some high-profile people, is that also an important aspect to have?
I don't understand the question.
I'll withdraw it. Nothing further.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. You may step down.
Oh, that the message that I put in the chat, that was not for any one person. If you guys can be so kind to like the video, that would be great. At one time, we had about 900 people in the chat. That has been the highest. If I can get at least 400 of y'all to like the video, that would be great. It's free.
And Your Honor, the defense calls Melissa Goddard.
Just watch your step. Remain standing. You can face the clock.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Now, I don't know if you guys watch this, but this lady's testimony is another thing that had me like, I don't know Mila. So just listen to what she's going to say. It's going to get very interesting in a minute.
The truth shall help you God.
I do.
You may sit or stand.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Sure. Melissa Goddard, Goddard.
Thank you. And what city do you live in? City and state, please.
Boca Raton, Florida.
Right. And are you employed?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
At PMG Private CFO.
And what is PMG Private CFO?
It's a boutique financial service company. So we do accounting, tax planning, tax prep, budgeting. We handle everything financial, data collection.
And is one of your company's clients Steph Diggs?
Yes, it is.
Right. And do you work on Mr. Diggs' account?
Yes, I'm his client manager.
All right. And how long have you been the client manager for Mr. Diggs' account?
Since November 13th, 2023.
And can you just briefly describe how Mr. Diggs' account is structured?
Sure. He has the personal side, which we call concierge, and the business side. So the personal side is his life personally, but because his person is a business, it transfers also over into businesses. And then he has several businesses that we operate.
Can you just very briefly identify the different businesses?
Sure. 𝐷𝐸𝐿C LLC, which is for his name, image, and likeness. Liam Brands International, which is a clothing brand. 𝐶𝐕, which is a furniture brand. And 𝐷𝐸𝐿C Foundation, which is his charity organization.
And so those businesses that you just described, are those handled on the business side of his account?
Correct.
All right. And then there's a personal side or a concierge side to handle his business. To handle his personal expenses.
Correct.
Okay. And up until starting before October 2025, so from 2023 to 2025 October, which side of his account did you handle?
I handled daily business transactions for the most part.
So I'm just going to go ahead and address this ignorant person. Actually, I'm just going to block you. I know you're miserable. Go away. So you will not be able to talk in this chat. I hope you find happiness. Being miserable, I don't know what that's like, but liking the video is, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But your dumb comments is what got you banned. Okay. Hopefully you get the help that you need.
Okay. And did you have a different colleague to handle the personal kind of concierge side?
Yes, the practical everyday concierge side we did.
And would expenses for private staff be handled on the business side or the concierge side?
The concierge side.
Okay. And did something happen in the fall of 2025 that caused you to take over responsibility for the concierge side?
Yes, we had an associate leave.
Okay. So the associate left, and then were you responsible in the fall of 2025 for both the business and the concierge side?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have responsibility?
That is a great question. And since you put that in the chat, I'm going to show y'all where the how to find the like button, because you're right. Sometimes people don't know where it's at, because until I got on YouTube, I didn't know what it was either. So let me show y'all something. Unknown caller. Please, folks, stop calling me. I'm going to show y'all something. Let me show you something. Okay. So I go to YouTube. I'm going to show y'all something. So what you do is you scroll down here, and we call it the like button, but really it's the thumbs up. But there it is. It's right there. I just wanted to show you guys that, because that is, you know, sometimes people don't know where it is. So that's all you do. You just go under the video and it's right there. So let me go back to sharing. I apologize. I didn't realize some people don't know where it is, because again, we call it the like button, but it really is the thumbs up. Now, somebody said that you can't hear. Now, you're going to have to turn up the volume on your own, because keep in mind, you're going to control your own volume. So, you know, if it's low for you, you have to just turn up your volume.
At that time for payments to Mr. Diggs's private chef?
Beginning of November, yes.
Okay, beginning of November 2025?
Correct.
And do you recall, well, what did you do when you took over responsibility for those payments?
I was notified at the beginning of November that the data collection program that we used was updated so that personal payments needed to be made. And one of them was for the chef. And I asked,
Now I'm gonna stop it right here because I need y'all to pay attention to this. Remember, she kept saying that she didn't get paid. And listen, I'm riding for you if you say you didn't get paid because I want you to get paid. But the clarification comes from this lady because she is one of the people that's in charge of people getting paid. Listen to what she says. It's just like after I was hearing this, I'm like, yeah, he's going to be found not guilty because nobody is corroborating her story. Not even the story where she says she didn't get paid. Like, if she didn't get paid, you didn't get paid. But this lady, watch what she says about what she actually got paid.
catch me up. Does she have a contract? How do we pay her? Does she have a W-9? Does she have an NDA? Just general information, like, what do I do? And
who are you talking to when you were getting this information?
Sunny.
And who is Sunny?
Stefon's personal assistant.
Okay. All right. Do you recall receiving an invoice from Ms. Adams on December 1st of 2025?
Yes.
And do you recall what that invoice was for?
It was for 3 weeks of services in November.
So sorry. Y'all get me together in the chat. You are so right. So I am actually on my computer. A lot of you guys are on your phone. So I don't know. Can y'all see this? So I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me show you all something. It's okay. If you're on your cell phone, it's 3 dots. I don't know if y'all can see my phone, but it's 3 dots and you kind of go in the corner and that's how you do it. So that is a little difficult. I didn't realize that. Let me find a video for y'all because I didn't realize that. My bad. That is, you know what? I didn't even think about that. It is very different. So I showed you all the wrong way on how to like a video, because I show you all how to like it on on my computer. And I know now that I'm looking at the analytics, a lot of y'all are on your cell phones. So give me a moment. I showed you guys how to like a video on your computer. So give me a second. So give me a second here. Let me see here. I'm gonna to like a. All right, give me a second. I'm about to show y'all something because I showed you all the wrong thing. How to like a video on iPhone. How to like a. All right, y'all, give me a second. Give me a second. So basically, just like I said, I was trying to find something that I can show y'all, but I cannot find any videos. If you go, like, I don't know if most of y'all got an iPhone, but if you take your phone, like while you're watching the video, like this is my phone. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's the 3 dots. Once you click the 3 dots, you can like the video. Like it says like, dislike, share. And that's pretty much it. My bad.
And reimbursable expenses.
Okay. What did you do with that invoice when you received it?
I checked. Well, immediately I knew that it was incorrect because I had paid her weekly for 2 of those weeks. So it raised a flag.
Okay, one more thing, y'all. I just learned something else. You don't even got to do that. All you got to do is double tap. Technology is something cool. You don't even got to do that. Thank you. Somebody just put it in the chat. I didn't even realize that. Who was that put it in the chat? �SGNFCNT. Thank you. Right. You said double tap. I didn't even think about that. Yep. Double tap. You double tap, you liked it.
Needed to figure out, had I made a mistake or had she made a mistake? And that caused me to look a little bit further into the reimbursable expenses. We're much more structured on the business side, so I usually audit those before paying them.
Okay. So when the flag was raised and it caused you to look a little bit deeper, what did you do to look a
Now
little
listen to this.
I pulled up every payment that we made to her for the last 18 months, as far back as I could go. And then I went through every receipt and reimbursable that we paid her for the last 6 months at that time.
Sorry. And at the conclusion, so would you describe that as a kind of an audit?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if you receive an invoice and it's incorrect, I want to know, is it our mistake or was it her mistake? So I wanted to make sure that we had paid her correctly.
All right. And what did you learn from conducting your audit?
That she had submitted receipts multiple times over the course of 6 months, the same receipt, that she had submitted reimbursements for packages sent that were paid by our Federal Express account for reimbursement, that we had overpaid her.
And were you able to quantify the amount of money that she had been overpaid based on your audit?
Yes.
And how much money was that?
I think the total was $2,500 and change at that time, with an additional $744 that maybe was legitimate. I couldn't substantiate because there wasn't a date on it. So that was more in a gray area.
Did you ask Ms. Adams for more information about the money that she was seeking?
Yes.
How did you do that?
I contacted Sunny and asked for her email. I gave my phone number, even my personal phone number, so that she could reach me because sometimes they're in different time zones. I reached out to her twice.
Okay. And did you ever hear back from her?
No, she never responded.
Did you tell Mr. Diggs what you had identified, at least from the audit that you conducted?
Yes, he called me. We spoke about it on December 5th.
All right. And what was his reaction?
He's like, "Give me a report." And he had wanted to make sure that she was paid. And I told him I would get him a report, and he was fine.
In the course of conducting your audit, or actually strike that, did there come a time when you were aware that there was some paperwork not completed that you would have expected to be completed?
At the beginning, when I took over, I asked for those things as, I think it was the beginning of December when the invoice didn't match what I had. You know, I'm buttoning things up. It's the end of fourth quarter. We're closing out the end of the year, so I wanted to make sure we had everything. So, you know, I was going through everybody's paperwork. But yes, it was about the beginning of December I realized we don't have her paperwork.
All right. And did you do anything about that?
Yeah, I had asked Sunny to, I had mentioned to Steph that I think we should get one. He said to coordinate with Sunny, which I did on December 4th. And I didn't receive anything, so I followed up with it as I normally would.
And how did you follow up with it?
I asked Sunny if she had collected it, and I emailed Mila asking for it.
Do you remember the date on which you emailed Mila for it? Sorry, Ms.
December
Adams.
8th.
December 8th.
Mhm.
Did you follow up again with Ms. Adams, if you can recall?
I did not, because Steph said not to worry about it.
Okay. Just one moment, I'm sorry.
Oh, you want to refresh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ms. Goddard, you just testified that you followed up with Ms. Adams asking for the NDA on December 8th.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was incorrect. It was December 13th.
Okay, thank you. All right, no further questions.
Council, report.
Just briefly, good afternoon now. Miss Goddard, have you ever been to Mr. Diggs' house in Dedham?
No.
No further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you.
Defense call is Shy Charles.
Just watch your step and remain standing and face the front.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may sit or stand.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name for the record and spell your first and your last name?
My name is Shy Charles. It's spelled XIACHARLES.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I own a hair salon and I braid hair, natural hair.
And where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn, New York.
You said you own a salon. Do you have an actual physical location?
Yeah, I
And
do.
is that down in the New York City area as well?
Yes, it's in Crown Heights.
How many clients do you have roughly?
Too many to count. I have lots of clients.
Okay. Is one of them Stefon Diggs?
Yes, it is.
How do you know Mr. Diggs?
I started doing his hair when he played for the Buffalo Bills.
Do you know how many years ago that was?
I'm not good with dates, but whenever he last played for the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you actually do Mr. Diggs's hair, how long does that process actually take?
I would estimate probably about 3 to 5 hours, anywhere between that. Yeah.
And where have you done Mr. Diggs's hair?
At his house. He travels a lot for work, so wherever he needs me to do his hair, I go.
Is that true of other clients you have as well?
Yeah.
Have you been inside Mr. Diggs's house in Dedham?
Yes, I have.
All right. Do you know when he lived there?
I don't know when he occupied the space, but I could tell you the first time I went there to do his hair.
When was that?
It was when the season started with the Patriots, probably about July, September, around that time last year.
So that'd be 2025?
Yeah.
Okay. And had you been in Mr. Diggs's and other clients' house to do their hair previously?
Yeah, I have lots of celebrity clients, and obviously they wouldn't want to come to the salon, so I go to them. So wherever they're at, I go meet them there, whether it's a hotel, their house, wherever.
All right. So it sounds like September or July, fall of last year was the first time you were in Mr. Diggs's home in Dedham, but not the first time previously.
Yeah, first time in Dedham, but not like elsewhere at his house. Wherever he lived before that, I would go.
Got it. And having done that, did you meet some of the people who were normally around?
Yes.
Do you know a person named Sonny?
Yes.
Who's that?
His assistant.
Did you meet any other family members of Mr. Diggs?
Yeah. Everybody that's in the house, his brothers, his mom, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever meet a person named Mila Adams?
Yes, I have.
Who's that?
It was his chef at the time when I met her.
And so when did you meet Mila Adams?
At the same time I went to the house for the first time, so like around July, September, whenever the season started with the Patriots.
Of last year?
Yeah.
Did you meet at the house?
Yeah.
And how much time were you at the house kind of the first time you met Miss Adams?
Probably like less than 24 hours or around that time, because I know I had a client the following day. So I just had to come do his hair. But that was late the evening. And so I had to leave the following day. Yeah.
Okay. And so you met Miss Adams at that point, but did you speak to her?
I did, because I had to go to Walgreens to get some products. And so I asked anybody in the house if they needed anything. And Mila said she needed a sponge, a makeup sponge. And so I got her the sponge. When I came back to the house, she asked me how much money it was, and I told her it was okay. And that's the first interaction we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other further interaction with Miss Adams after that kind of initial 24-hour stay?
Yeah, when I came back to the house.
When was that?
I can't give you an exact date, but I could like estimate. So probably within 2 weeks, because he'll do his hair like every 2 to 3 weeks.
So about 2, maybe 3 weeks later?
Yeah.
You went back to the house in Dedham?
Yeah.
Was Miss Adams at the house in Dedham at that point?
Yeah.
And so did you speak more to her when you went back the second time?
Yeah. So can we go back? Because even after, because I don't
No,
know.
I'm sorry. Just
Okay.
I apologize,
Yeah.
Miss Charles. But
Yeah.
did you speak to Miss Adams again that second time you
Yeah,
went back
I
to
did.
the house?
We spoke more. Yeah.
All right. How much time did you spend with her that second time?
More time, or like a longer time, because we were talking about food, and she wanted to come to New York to start her restaurant. And I'm a business owner, and we connected on the fact that she was a business owner. And I have like a big social media following, and I told her that she needs to do content. And I wanted to help her with her content so she could start her business. So we connected on that.
Did you end up helping her
Yeah.
with content?
Yeah.
Did you two stay in touch?
Yeah.
How long were you around at the house in Dedham that second time?
I can't tell you how long, honestly. I would stay longer if it had a game and we'd go to the game together. But for however, because most times she'll be like the only female there, and Sunny will come and go. And so I spent more time with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of following that time you spent together where you said you connected over being business owners.
Yeah.
Did you two remain in contact?
Yeah.
And how did you do that?
We'll text, we'll send Instagram reels, we'll FaceTime.
So you guys exchanged phone numbers?
Yeah.
How much did you talk, you think, in the following weeks and months that fall?
A lot, because a lot. We talk about business, we'll gossip, we girls, so yeah.
Did you ever spend more time together in person with Miss Adams?
Yeah, I took her back to my country. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so I took her to Tobago. She spent time with my family, with my grandmother. Yeah, I actually bought her ticket to go to Tobago. So yeah.
When was that?
This was probably around Thanksgiving time.
End of November then?
Yeah. Whenever Thanksgiving was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Following that trip, do you remember where you went after that?
I came back to New York. We came back on the same flight. I came back to New York and she went to Boston.
Okay. Do you remember where you were on December 2nd?
Yeah, actually. I was in Target, like late evening.
What were you doing in Target?
I was shopping for ingredients because I was spending too much money on Ubers. So I was buying ingredients to cook, like groceries.
You're buying groceries at Target?
Yeah.
What were you cooking?
So I wanted to make this like Cajun pasta with shrimp and like sausage. Mila had made it at the house, and it was healthy. And so I wanted to cook that because I didn't want to buy Uber Eats. I didn't want to spend money on Uber Eats, and I just wanted to be healthier and cook. And so I wanted to make it like her. So I was going through the aisles and like picking up stuff and calling Mila or message. Like I texted her a picture and asked her if it was this one, but she wasn't responding quick enough, so I FaceTime her.
All right, so let me break that down there for a minute. You're in Target, you're trying to purchase ingredients for a dinner that you had seen Mila cook.
Yeah.
You said at the house. Is that at the Dedham house?
Yeah.
All right. Did you say you were looking for what was the ingredient you were looking
Like
for?
shrimp, but so she makes matcha as well. So I was trying to find out like what matcha to get. That specific one from tea dealers. Shrimp, pasta, sausage,
Okay.
everything like that.
So you just said a moment ago that
Yeah.
as you were trying to find ingredients, you
Yeah.
started by taking a picture
Yeah.
and sending it
Yeah.
to Mila.
Yeah.
Do you remember what time that was at?
It was before 6 p.m. for sure, because I remember leaving my cart in Target to go pick up some dry cleaning for my boyfriend because I had to get it before it closed. So I actually left Target and came back to Target. So it was before 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a specific time? Do you remember exact times?
So the dry cleaners was in Brownsville, Target was at Gateway. So I got there probably minutes to 6. So probably like the end, like ending at 4 or 5 p.m. somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned a text message or a photograph of an ingredient you sent.
Yeah.
Was there any record of that?
Yeah, I took a picture and sent it to her.
All right. Would that have had the actual time?
Yeah. And the
on
location.
message?
Yeah.
Do you think taking a look at a record might refresh your recollection of what time
Yeah.
you sent that photograph? Did you say yes?
Yes.
I may approach her. Yes. What I'm going to ask you to do, Ms. Charles,
Yeah.
just take a look at that photograph. Okay. And I want you to look at that.
Yeah.
And after you've reviewed it, take a look up.
Yeah.
Having looked at that, does that refresh your recollection on what time
Yeah.
you actually began communicating with Miss Adams when you were in the Target?
Yes.
And what time was that?
It says 4:38 on the picture.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that consistent with your recollection of when you reached out to Miss Adams?
Yeah.
Now you said you started by texting and then you FaceTimed with Miss Adams?
Yeah.
What's FaceTime?
A video call app on every iPhone.
Had you FaceTime with Miss Adams previously?
Yeah.
And so describe how that looks. What's happening at that point when you're FaceTiming?
So I FaceTime her, I told her what I was doing. We spoke about the pasta, and all the ingredients I needed to get. And she was like, girl, I'm not going to Miami. And she said she's going to go home to Atlanta for a couple of days. Then she's going to come to New York. Well, she's going to go home to Atlanta, but she's going to stop off in New York for a couple of days.
All right, let me actually stop you there. I
Yeah.
apologize, Ms. Charles. It was
Yeah.
not a specific question. So you said you're in Target while this conversation is happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you see where Miss Adams was?
Yeah.
Where was she?
She was in the kitchen,
Kitchen of what?
of the denim house.
And how do you know that?
Because I've been there before, so I know the layout of the house. And the faucet was running, and I could see the island in the background.
Okay. You just said she mentioned Miami. Did you notice anything about her face, her physical appearance when you had this FaceTime call?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
Did you see any redness, swelling?
No.
Was she flush?
No.
Was she teary-eyed?
No.
Were there any bruises on her?
No.
You started to talk a little bit about places she said she was going.
Yeah.
Did you end up actually seeing Miss Adams that day?
Yeah. Because
Following that conversation?
Yeah.
All right.
She said
Where was that?
In New York, because she said she was stopping off in New York for a couple of days. I asked her where she was gonna stay. She said a hotel. I'm like, girl, we friends. You don't have to stay at a hotel. You can stay at my place.
All right. Did you actually see her that night? Did she stay at your place?
Yeah.
So where'd you first see her?
At the airport.
What airport?
LaGuardia.
And what were you doing out there?
I went to pick her up.
What time did you pick her up from LaGuardia Airport?
She told me she was on at 11, so I got there like minutes to 11. I had to wait because I think her flight was delayed. Yeah, her flight was delayed. So I waited there for like 45 minutes.
And so Did you end up seeing Miss Adams? Did she actually get in your car?
Yeah.
You picked her up from LaGuardia Airport? When she got in your car, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
Mm-mm.
Did you notice anything about her appearance?
No.
Was there any bruising on her at that point?
No.
What were you doing when you picked Miss Adams up?
We went to go pick up my friend Tally in Queens, and we were just chilling in the car. We were just like singing and just talking.
Anything out of the ordinary about either Miss Adams or your friend Tolly's demeanor?
No.
What's your friend Tolly's name? if you know?
Her name is Natalia Moses.
Okay. Your car, what kind of car do you drive?
Mercedes-Benz GLE 63S.
Is there any kind of aftermarket systems that's equipped with?
It parks for itself.
Let me ask you this. Does your car have video?
Yeah. Well, I install dash cam in my car.
Oh, you put the dash cam in. That
Yeah.
didn't come with the car itself?
No.
Got it. What I'm going to ask is if we could pull up video 2, I believe, from what has been marked exhibit number 5.
Clean for myself to get an honest check. What number is more like one of the things?
If we could pause it right there. All right. So this is actually, for the record, the first video in exhibit number 5, Mr. Charles. Looking at this, we've played 14 seconds. Do you recognize what we're looking at?
Yes.
What is that?
That's me in my car. Dash cam video.
All right. And that video, does that fairly and accurately represent kind of the drive you guys had?
Yeah.
All right. There's a timestamp down here at the bottom. It says 11:48 and 18 seconds p.m.
Yeah.
Is that consistent with your recollection of kind of after you had picked Mila up from the airport?
Yeah.
What I'm going to ask Ms. Silva to do is go to the next video down on that list. I'm going to ask Ms. Silva to pause it real quick by hitting the space bar. Thank you. So, looking at video number 2, it looks like the timestamp on the bottom says December 3rd, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Watching that video, what are we seeing in the video?
We were listening to Cranes in the Sky by Solange, and we were just talking about what the song was about.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when you say there, we, who is we?
My friend Natalia Moses and Mila Adams in the car.
All right, so where we pause, and it's a little hard to see, but is your testimony that Miss Moses was in the car?
Yeah.
Who's in the front seat here?
Mila Adams.
So was Miss Moses in the back seat of your car?
Yes.
Okay. What did the 3 of you do that night?
We went to Jersey. I have a house in Jersey City, so we went to Jersey City.
And what did you do?
Drink, eat wings, and watch TV, just chill.
All right. Did you end up staying or sleeping in Jersey City, or did you sleep somewhere else?
No, I went back to my apartment in Brooklyn.
Who went back to your apartment in Brooklyn?
Me, Tally, and Mila.
And what time do you think you got back?
I estimate probably like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning.
All right, so early in the morning.
Yeah.
That entire time span that we're talking about there is your description of what you just did: eat, drink, have some wings and hang out. Is that a fair description of what you did that night?
Yeah.
All right. Where'd you sleep that night?
I slept on the couch downstairs, and Mila and Tally slept upstairs in my bedroom.
Okay. Do you remember how long Miss Adams ended up staying at your house?
Probably like a week, a little over a week.
All right. That night in Jersey City and back at your apartment in Brooklyn, did you have the opportunity to observe Miss Adams?
Probably the morning we got up. Yeah, because we girls, so we get dressed in front of each other. So yeah, the day of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you get dressed in front of each other,
Yeah.
did you actually see Miss Adams without clothes on as you were getting dressed?
With a towel on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you observe any bruising, redness on
No.
her neck or chest?
No.
Did you observe anything on her face?
No.
I'm going to ask Ms. Silva if we can actually play the third video. And so I'm going to pause it right there and just ask you, so this image, is that a fair and accurate representation of how Miss Adams looked that day on December 3rd?
Yeah.
That video kind of depicts how she looked.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Silva. Anytime the day of December 3rd, did you notice bruising developing, redness, any kind of physical marks on Miss Adams?
No.
On December 4th, 5th, 6th, did you notice any of that?
No.
Did Miss Adams ever tell you that she had been assaulted or strangled?
No.
Did she ever mention any kind of an attack?
No.
Do you remember when she left?
I can't give you the exact date, but probably like somewhere between the 9th, 10th, or 11th, either one of those dates.
Okay. And after Miss Adams left, actually, let me back up, strike that. So if she got there on December 2nd, and she left on the 9th, 10th, or 11th, is it fair to say she was down there for a week, maybe a little bit more?
Yeah.
All right. After she left, did you see her again?
Yeah, I saw her afterwards.
Soon afterwards? Where was that?
In Boston.
And in Boston, where were you?
Where was I in Boston?
Yeah.
At the house in Dedham.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah.
I understand. So you saw her again at the house in Dedham?
Yeah.
And when was that?
Probably the 13th. Yeah, the 12th or the 13th, because I had to go do his hair.
Okay. What was there some sort of time sensitive pressure about doing his hair?
Because he had to leave to go to Miami, so I had to go do his hair. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to do his hair. Probably had a game. He probably had a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me back you up. Miss Adams leaves New York.
Yeah.
9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
And your testimony was that you think it was on the 13th. You saw her again?
Yeah. Either 12, 13, 14, somewhere there. I'm not good with dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was
at the house in Dedham.
All right.
Yeah.
What were you doing in the house in Dedham?
I had to do his hair.
Who was in the house in Dedham?
His mom, Mila, me. I think Marshawn was there. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I can remember being in the house.
Okay. Did you do Mr. Diggs's hair that day?
Yeah.
What time of day?
It was late evening.
In the evening then?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
How long did doing his hair take?
Between 3 and 5 hours.
And so, do you remember when you finished doing his hair roughly?
It was late that night. Yeah, like probably 10, 11, somewhere there.
What did you do after you finished doing Mr. Diggs's hair that night?
I slept on the couch because I had a flight 6 a.m. that morning.
6 a.m. the following morning or that morning?
The
I'm sorry.
following so I did his hair the night. I stayed downstairs on the couch. I was laying on the couch on my phone. I stayed down there because I had a flight early the next morning.
Got it.
Yeah.
When you were down on the couch, what happened?
Like later into the night, Mila came downstairs and she was just talking about stuff that happened earlier in the day.
All right, let me back you up there for a moment. Did you see anything unusual on the evening of December 13th when you were doing Mr. Diggs's hair?
Yeah, so I was behind the couch. He was on the couch with Miss Stephanie. We were watching a Netflix comedy special, and we were just there kicking it. He was on his phone. Mila was in the back of us, like in a little dining area. She was on her phone, and she shouts over to him, "Yo, Steph, when am I gonna get my money?" And he responds, "I think you spoke to the accountant." And her demeanor changed. His demeanor kind of changed, but I wasn't paying any attention to it. I was just doing my job. So after a while, she moves from behind on the dining table and she comes to the front, like on the side, like a love seat area thing. And she was there on her phone and she was just like laughing really loud. I don't want to imply anything, but like,
No,
tell,
so
okay,
let me
yeah.
stop you right there. You said she's over on her phone. She was laughing really loud.
Yeah.
Was she watching the comedy special?
No, she was just on her phone.
Okay. So you said later that night or the next morning, you spoke to her again?
Yeah, like in the probably midnight, 1 a.m.-ish. Yeah, she came downstairs and we were talking.
When she came downstairs, was there anybody else downstairs?
No, just me and her.
And what did she tell you when she came downstairs?
She asked me if he was annoyed.
She asked you if
if he was annoyed.
And that's Mr. Diggs?
Yeah.
Did she tell you she was going to do anything?
Yeah, she was trying to antagonize him while she was on the couch, like trying to get beneath his skin, and she was
Sustained.
Okay.
So let me ask you this way. Did she indicate when she came downstairs that she was going to do anything? Did she tell you she was going to take any action?
Yeah, she said she was going to sue him.
For what?
For the money that he owes her. And like, she going to take it to the blog. She going to
Take it to the block?
Blogs.
Got it.
Yeah. It was like an hour-long conversation, so it was a lot. So.
Let me start with
Oh, sorry.
Now, with her statement alone was damaging. She's saying that this lady was basically saying she was going to sue him. She was going to take it to the blog. So this was the day that I said he's going to be found not guilty.
So do you remember her saying that she was going to make him pay?
Yeah.
Do you remember her saying anything about a hostile work environment?
Yeah.
Let me have one moment, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Couple things I want to follow up with. It's Charles. Did Ms. Adams, prior to her coming down that night, 1 a.m., and having this conversation with you, did she tell you that she had been assaulted? Did you heard anything about a strangulation and assault?
No.
That night, when she was talking about the suing Mr. Diggs, did she say that she had been assaulted?
No.
I want to back up down to kind of early in your testimony. You said you have a dash camera in your car. How long have you had that?
Probably a little after my birthday, which is September. So, yeah. Probably end of September, beginning of October.
Okay. Why do you have that?
Because people are scamming in your insurance fraud. Like they hit your car, they see you have a nice car, and they try to get money out of you.
In New York, you said?
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions.
Call, care to inquire?
Good afternoon, Ms. Charles.
Afternoon.
So you've been doing Mr. Diggs' hair, you said every 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
For how long?
So I started doing his hair when he was at the Buffalo Bills. And then last year, like a little before the Met Gala last year is when like I started doing it consistently.
Okay, so for more than 1 year you've been doing it, or?
Yeah.
And that's you said like a 3 to 5 hour appointment every 2 to 3 weeks. How much do you get paid when you do that?
It depends on the style I do. It could range from $600 to probably $1,500.
And you said that sometimes you go to the games afterwards.
Yeah.
How many times has that happened?
I went twice when I was in Dedham, once in New York, and once at the Super Bowl.
And you also said that at least on one occasion you slept over his house. Did you sleep over his house often, or?
No.
When did you meet Ms. Adams?
Probably August, September.
So at the time when she went to New York, you'd known her for 2-3 months, something like that?
Probably, yeah.
And you'd known him for over a year?
Yeah.
And you'd seen him every 2 to 3 weeks for 3 to 5 hours?
Yeah.
So is it fair to say you knew him better than you knew her?
No, because we have a client service provider relationship. So I wouldn't say that's subjective.
When you're doing his hair, do you talk to him?
I keep it professional. So just how's the game, stuff like that, nothing in his personal life.
One moment. Nothing further.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Charles.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defense calls Natalia Moses.
Just watch your step, and then you can remain standing.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may sit or stand.
Good afternoon, Ms. Moses.
Good afternoon.
Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Natalia Moses, Moses.
All right, and I'll just ask you to keep your voice up a little bit so that everyone in the court can hear.
Sure.
Do you also go by a nickname?
Yes, Tali.
Tali is your nickname?
Yes.
Where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I've just moved. I live in Florida. I go between Brooklyn and Florida as I have a business in Florida as well.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a hairstylist.
Do you work for any particular salon or on your own?
No, I have my own business.
Okay. Do you know Shy Charles?
I do.
How do you know Shy?
Shy and I met in 2018. I started off being her assistant, her braiding assistant.
Okay. Do you still work with Shy?
No.
All right. What about Stefon Diggs? Do you know Stefon Diggs?
No, not personally.
Have you ever met Stefon Diggs?
No.
Is Stefon Diggs a client of yours?
No.
Okay. Do you know Mila Adams?
I do.
How do you know Mila?
I know Mila through Shy.
Okay. When is the first, have you ever met Ms. Adams?
I have.
When is the first time you met her?
I want to say December 2nd into December 3rd. Around that time, that was the first time I met her in person, but I would have spoken to her on the phone on multiple occasions before.
Okay. And did you talk to her, just the two of you before December 2nd?
No, not just the two of us. We would always speak on with Shy in the middle, so it would always be on Shy's phone. So I never spoke to her one-on-one prior to December 2nd.
I see. Okay. So Shy and Ms. Adams had a relationship.
That's correct.
And then sometime, and you and Shy have a relationship.
That's correct.
And sometimes the three of you would talk.
That's correct.
Understood. And were these calls professional calls, business calls, personal calls?
Personal calls.
Okay. All right. So what were the circumstances under which you met Ms. Adams on December 2nd?
So she said she was passing through to New York, and Shai told her, well, she could stay at her house. I just came from Atlanta because I had a job in Atlanta, and Shai told me that she would pick me up as we were coming in from the same airport. I, however, came in before Miss Adams, so I went to my family's house, and Shai picked me up from there with Miss Adams in the car.
Okay, and where was your family's house?
In Queens.
All right. And that was the first time you met Ms. Adams?
In person, yes.
In person, okay. Now, I take it you had been in Shai's car before?
That's correct.
All right, and can you describe her car, the outside of it?
It's a white AMG.
Okay. And can you just describe the inside of her car?
She has a red interior.
All right. Does she have any recording devices in her car?
Yes, she has a dash cam in her car.
All right, and can you describe what that dash cam looks like?
It's a rectangular shape. She has it on the top of the windshield.
Okay, so you can see it when you're sitting in her car?
That's correct.
All right, and did you know that that dash cam was in there?
I did.
All right. Did you know that on December 2nd?
Yes, I did.
And you could see it when you were sitting in the car on December 2nd?
Yes, I did.
All right. After Shai and Ms. Adams picked you up in, I think you said Queens?
Yes.
What did you do after that?
We went to New Jersey.
And what did you do in New Jersey?
We was just chilling at the house. We bought food, and girls' time. We was just hanging around, watching music videos and stuff like that.
And during that time, it's a strange question, were the lights on?
It was.
Okay. When you were with Shai and Miss Adams at the house in New Jersey, did you notice any marks or bruises or redness on Ms. Adams' face?
I did not.
Could you see her neck at that time?
Yes.
Did you notice any marks or redness or bruises on her neck?
No, I did not.
Did she complain at any point about soreness or stiffness or, soreness or stiffness?
No, she did not.
You testified, did you see her eat?
I did.
Did you see her drink?
I did.
Did she seem to have any difficulty swallowing?
She did not.
Did she complain about difficulty swallowing?
No, she did not.
Or a sore throat at all?
No.
Did her voice sound hoarse?
No, it
Did her voice sound any different than it had sounded when you previously spoke with her?
No.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary in her appearance or her behavior on December 2nd?
I did not.
Okay. How long did you end up spending time with Miss Adams in New York City?
Approximately a week.
Okay. Did you spend that whole week? And I'm sorry, I should have asked this question. Did you stay in that house in New Jersey on December 2nd?
No, we went to Shai's house in Brooklyn.
Okay. And did you end up staying there that night?
We did.
Did you stay there also on the night of December 3rd?
I did.
And did you stay there all the way up until December 9th?
I did.
Okay. And did Miss Adams stay there as well?
She did.
Where did you sleep in the Brooklyn house?
We all slept in Shai's room.
Okay. By all, you mean you, Miss Adams, and Shai?
And Shai.
Okay.
Sometimes Shai would go to her boyfriend's house, so sometimes it would just be Miss Adams and myself.
Okay. I take it you at some point woke up on December 3rd.
Yes.
And what was Ms. Adams' behavior like on December 3rd?
She was fine. She was bubbly.
Okay.
Yeah, a good personality. She didn't show any signs of anything wrong.
Okay. Did she cook for you?
She made breakfast.
And same question on December 3rd. Did you spend December 3rd with her?
I did.
Did you see any bruises, redness, marks on her face at that time?
No.
Were you able to see her neck on that day?
Yes, I did.
Were you able to see her chest on that day?
Yes, we all stayed in the same room, so we got dressed and everything together.
Okay, understood. And did you see any marks or bruising or redness?
No.
On any of those areas? Okay. Did you see any such marks or bruises or redness, anything like that, the entire week you spent together?
No.
Okay. Did there come a time where Ms. Adams asked you to take a look at her hair?
Yes.
Can you, what was that? How did that come about?
So I was supposed to do her hair. So a stylist, I would analyze her hair. I would lift it up just to see if, the style that we was going to do. I was trying to decide on the style that we was going to do. So I did have close up view to her neck and her hair.
Okay. And in the course of lifting her hair and looking at her neck, did you see anything?
No.
Okay. Do you remember taking a couple of videos of Ms. Adams while you were together in New York?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember approximately when that was?
Possibly December 7th or 8th, around that time.
Okay. And I will ask Mr. Kettlewell to very smoothly play Exhibit 8, please. Okay, and we can just pause that. Sorry. Ms. Moses, is this one of the videos that you took of Ms. Adams?
Yes, it is.
All right, and can you just describe where you are?
We were in Shire's room there, and we were just goofing around, listening to music and dancing and stuff.
Okay. And then if you could just complete that video, please. All right, and then Mr. Kettlewell, if you could play Exhibit 9, please. And can you just hit pause for a second? Thank you. Is this the other video that you took of Ms. Adams?
Yes, it is.
And that was on that trip in New York?
Yes, it is.
Between December 2nd and December 9th?
Yes.
Okay. And was this close in time to the first video?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Kettlewell, if you could keep playing. And was that video that you took, was that consistent of how Miss Adams was being with you?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone ask you to take that video?
No.
But Miss Adams knew you were filming her.
She did.
Okay. And the entire time that you were with Miss Adams in New York City, did she mention anything about being hit?
She did not.
Did she mention anything about being choked?
No, she did not.
Did she say or do anything that suggested to you that Steph Diggs had hurt her or scared her in any way?
She did not.
I have no further questions. Thank you. Cowell?
Just briefly, that New York trip, was that the first time you had ever met Miss Adams in person?
That's correct.
You said you didn't see any bruises on her. Were you looking for bruises on her?
No, but she was in my face.
Nothing further.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you.
Now, guys, so that is pretty much the trial. Of course, you all know that he was, found not guilty. Now, what happened after that was pretty much the, y'all know, like the closing arguments. But his attorneys has come out and made a statement.
The judge and the jury for...
Wait, I have it up. So if it's low, you guys have to turn it up on your end. I actually have it low. I mean, I'm sorry, I have it loud on my end here.
We want to thank the judge and the jury for running an efficient case and listening to all the evidence and coming to a just result. The domestic violence, an efficient case and listening to all the evidence and coming to a just result. Domestic violence is a very, very serious issue in this country. And it's disconcerting when people use it as a sword and manufacture claims in an attempt to extract money. I believe the jury saw through that today. And we are very, very pleased with this result. I'm thankful for someone like Stefon Diggs, who insisted that he get his day in court so that his truth could be heard. And it was heard. No assault ever occurred, as Andrew said, both during his opening and his summation. People have to stop targeting professional athletes and trying to extract money. They have a target on their back, and it's hard enough doing what they do. And this has to stop. People should focus on real victims from domestic violence, and allegations like this do a tremendous disservice to those who are really afflicted and impacted by causes like this. And it's been an honor to represent Stefon, and I could not be more proud of him that he insisted that we see this through and that the truth be told.
After the verdict was read, he got emotional and he clutched his lawyers. How is Stefon doing right now?
It's an emotional thing to have false allegations levied at you. This has impacted him both personally and professionally. And so, yeah, he's an emotional person, but he's a person. He's a human being. And people just look at professional athletes like they don't have feelings and they don't have emotions and they don't have cares. They do, and he certainly does, and he's not shy about expressing that. So our hope is that this is now behind him, that he will get signed by a team. Any team that signs him will be lucky to have him.
Now I know this is lawyer, but he lied because his damn team member said that they wouldn't have his ass around their sisters. So, I do believe that Stefon created his own problems. He need to keep his wee-wee in his pants and stop screwing the people that he's bringing in as employees. Like, what type of, not only was he screwing her, he's screwing the people. Like, come on, dude, clean up your image, keep your wee-wee in your pants, get you some help. You are creating problems on your own. I mean, he got kids all over the world. These are problems that he brought on himself. So maybe he will sit his ass down this time, but who knows? I feel like, sometimes when people get away with shit, they give them a bigger ego. So who knows? I don't know. I mean, he may not.
We are very pleased and happy that Stefon will, continue on and play football in the National Football League.
Describe the impact. You said impacted professionally and give us more details on that.
Well, I just think teams have been reluctant to sign him with these false charges hanging over his head. And now that he has been exonerated and his truth has been heard and his...
And so we don't really know if this is the truth either, because we know money can buy shit. Because if you were to look up Stefon Diggs, this was not the only thing that was alleged. Somebody else by the name of Christopher Blake Griffin filed a complaint against him alleging essay battery and other claims. So to me, when, you get more than one person, it kind of makes it seem like, he may know how to maneuver the system. Now, the lady just didn't have evidence. Now, I mean, she just didn't have evidence, but, it's kind of odd that people are, calling him an abusive person, which is consistent with what that other man said.
His position that this never occurred and he's been falsely accused, he's been vindicated. And I believe that a team will reach out and sign him imminently, and they're going to be lucky to get him.
With everything that happened with one witness, was there ever a talk of a mistrial during the past 2 days?
Not by us. We wanted this case to run its course and be completed. And there were a lot of missteps in this case. Whoever was listening saw it. But we, I believe, Sarah and Andrew and I, wanted this to see its end shortly. And so we persevered and we made sure that there was no mistrial and that the jury had an opportunity to opine and render a verdict. And they rendered a just verdict.
Was there ever a consideration to settle this, especially early on? When
Never,
the Patriots were
never. Stefon was not going to settle this case. He was falsely accused, and he wanted everyone to know that.
Why do you think prosecutors moved forward with the case? I think you had said you'd be surprised if it reached trial, and yet here we are after a trial.
I was surprised then. I was surprised yesterday. I'm still surprised. This case never should have been brought. It was a waste of resources.
At one point during this case, you said that you practiced in the back, and also, what were other surprises during this trial that really stood out?
I think one of the surprises for me was Ms. Adams' testimony and how she testified and what she testified about, what questions she couldn't answer or refused to answer. I think any experienced trial attorney will tell you there's never a sure thing, so nothing is ever in the bag. But we definitely felt very confident in our case. We spent a lot of time reviewing the evidence. We had great trial counsel. So we were always cautiously optimistic that this would be the result. But until a jury comes forward and announces not guilty, you're just never sure. But we were always very confident. And this was Steph's desire to be heard, to have the truth exposed. And we're very pleased. So thank you very much.
All of us want to hear more from Stefon. Can you speak more to how he's feeling right now?
He's emotional, but he's happy. He's happy that he's been vindicated. No one, whether you're a professional athlete or a business person, wants to be falsely accused. It hurts, especially a serious issue like domestic violence. And so, yeah, he was very upset about these allegations. He was emotional, and I applaud him for allowing that to shine through.
He's a good lying-ass attorney. He wasn't emotional when he was calling that lady all type of. Tell it to your mammy, okay? Tell it to your mammy, okay? That man got 99 kids. He stick his, his penis in the doorknob and get it pregnant. He not emotional about all them damn broken homes he got. Get the hell up out of here. Stefon ain't nothing but a piece of shit. Cardi B done went from shit to shit because he ain't no better than damn, what's that man name? Offset. He may be a good player, but he need to keep that DICK in his pants. Look at his ass sitting there like a little yacht. What is all that beeping? Oh my gosh, they need to fix it. What is that? Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's not it, y'all. My bad. The wrong one. I was wondering why I was making that noise. But so we know, he was found not guilty. I mean, I believe that there was no evidence, unfortunately. So she didn't prove the case. She didn't have enough evidence.
On count one, strangulation or suffocation, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count two, the charge of assault and battery, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Remember, this case was brought against him by his former chef, who claimed that Diggs slapped and choked her during an argument. Diggs' attorneys say it never happened. Misty Maris has been following this one for us. This was a pretty quick trial, I think. The jury only deliberated a few hours here. Are you surprised by the verdict, or does it track what you thought, what tea leaves you read?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by the verdict because Adams, the alleged victim in this case, had a really tough time on cross-examination, Hallie. This case was all about timeline. This alleged altercation happened on December 2nd. It wasn't reported until December 16th. The defense was able to effectively present witnesses that said that they did not see anything, that there was no indication that this altercation happened. They were able to use video of the alleged victim on December 9th, right in between that time, having fun on a trip in New York. Basically, they were really able to attack credibility and say that these allegations were a part of a scheme to try and elicit money. And that credibility attack really was effective by the defense. So I'm not surprised to see this. Remember, no other evidence was at play. This was largely based on Adams and her testimony alone. So it was really whether or not the jury believed her side of the story.
What do you make, Misty, of Diggs' decision not to take the stand in his own defense? He had the option to, and he didn't.
He certainly did. And I would have thought that maybe he would accept that Adams' testimony was not good for the prosecution. So when the defense is able to effectively cross-examine, get those credibility issues out in front of the jury, it's often not worth the risk to actually put the defendant on the stand. It could actually upset what is already really, really effective testimony by a witness for the prosecution. And remember, the defense never has to testify, and all they've got to do is raise reasonable doubt. So I think it was a very strategic decision that was made, given the way that the prime witness, the Adams testimony played out. Keep in mind, Hallie, even the prosecution during closing arguments had to admit to the jury and say she was evasive, she was combative, but you should believe her anyway. That's never a good sign.
Misty Maris, thank you very much for breaking that down for us.
He was found not guilty, and in all honesty, they didn't have the evidence. You know, you can't, or you shouldn't be, you know, convicted people without the evidence. So if he did it, she did a horrible job with having some type of evidence. I mean, even if she was celebrating, because I mean, you ain't supposed to be sad forever. I mean, if somebody shook you up or choked you, I mean, what is she supposed to be sad for the next year of her life? But she had no evidence to show that that this had actually happened. So I think they did the right thing. Like, you can't just, you know, put, you know, people in jail and shit because of what somebody said. We have to investigate. People lie all the time. Not to say she was lying, but she had no evidence. None. She had no evidence, not even a piece of evidence. So I'm, you know, was very surprised that he was charged. I thought maybe they had more evidence. It seemed like they didn't have shit. So thank you, Dala 8499 for the super chat. She was supposed to call the authorities right away. I mean, damn, she waited, what, like 10 days? It just didn't seem right. I mean, there were just too many things. You took forever to report it. You had no bruising. So, you know, you say that you were brutally attacked, but who is brutally attacked that waits 10 days or more to call and report it? It just didn't seem right. Like, nothing added up. Even the day that she alleges that this happened, people that saw her couldn't even remember if she was disheveled or if, you know, she was sad. So it just, I mean, they did the right thing. They did the right thing. And, you know, judging from as quickly as they gave the decision, they wasn't believing this anyways, because it took them absolutely no time to say hell to the no. Well, I will see y'all tomorrow. Make sure you come back. I will be live Monday through Thursday starting at 4 p.m. I'll see y'all tomorrow.